Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from anywhere you are joining us. Please, let's confirm that we can hear me loud and clear. If you can hear me, please just drop anything in the comment section so that I'll be sure that people can hear me loud and clear. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Crispina. Thank you, Nadine. All right, thank you so much. I can see a couple of reactions. So today is going to be a very fantastic conversation. So it's just a conversation, really. And we're going to be talking about how I analyze 1,000 jobs on Indeed. And here is what you need to know to get a job. Okay, this is what you need to have for you to also get a job. All right, and we're going to stretch it beyond just 1,000 jobs. Because as I was working on the 1,000, I realized that of what use is just 1,000 when we can actually do a lot more. Okay, so today we're going to be having a very, very fantastic conversation. All right. But before we jump right into it, I would love to know you and also know where you are joining us from today. Okay, so simply put in your name and then the location of where you are joining us. For instance, Chukwemeka, USA, Chukwemeka, UK, Chukwemeka, Canada, as the case may be, Nigeria, Africa. Just put it so that we'll get to know each other before we continue. Okay, I can see a couple of comments already dropping in. Can see Taiwo from Canada, can see Laurencia from UK, Olanka from USA, Crispina from USA, Fred from Scotland, Irabo from Morocco, Mavis from UK, Blessing from Nigeria, User from UK, fantastic, Evelyn from Nigeria, Chijoke, Nigeria, Nadine from Trinidad and Tobago, and also Leo from UK. So if you go through the comment section, you can clearly see that we have up to 10 countries listed here. Okay, so let me go again. We'll have Nigeria, we'll have Canada, we'll have UK, we'll have USA, we'll have Scotland, we'll have Morocco, we'll have Trinidad and Tobago, we have, okay, Canada as well. Okay, and we also have Oman. That's Raj from Oman. Fantastic. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. And this is the beauty of tech, actually. So I always wonder when people mention things like, oh, I did this in this place and I'm looking to transition and then I'm looking for my skills, because all those skills that you have maybe from USA can comfortably work in UK. The one that you have from Lesotho, which is where we have Mosais joining us from today, can also use it to work in Canada as well. Okay, so we have close to 10 countries here. I can see Clarice from Kenya. Fantastic. So if you are from any country that I've not recognized today, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. Okay, I can see one last one. Mutwayo from Jamaica. Fantastic. It's good to have each and every one of you on this conversation for today. So when you see us have conversations like this and you're just seeing me use UK, US, and Canada, please don't fear. All right, don't feel, oh, your country is not recognized. It's simply because these three countries are mostly what we use as benchmark. We are doing most comparisons. Okay, so don't feel okay because Jamaica is not here, Nigeria is not here, Kenya is not here, Lesotho is not here, that this conversation is not meant for you. It is fully meant for you. Okay, and if you know anyone that is going to benefit from the conversation that we are about to have, feel free to share the link to this meeting with them, your friends, your family member, anybody that you know, even your enemy, that you know that is going to benefit from this conversation. Please feel free to share the link with them. We are going to jump right into what we have. So who are we that organize this event? We are 10 Analytics. Okay, we are 10 Analytics. So I love to pronounce it for people so that we can comfortably also be able to speak the name. Okay, so 10 and then Analytics. Okay, 10 and then Analytics pronounced together, and then you have 10 Analytics. And what exactly do we do? So we help people to transition into the tech industry. Okay, so how do we utilize those initial years of experience that you currently have and find a pathway for you in the tech ecosystem? That is what we are fully here for. And we've been doing this for more than 5 years now. We've helped close to 3,000 people to transition across the globe, okay, in different career paths, data analytics, data science, cybersecurity, agile project management, name them. And how exactly do we do this? So it's simple. All right, we bring in experts that are already working in the actual environment to come back to teach people using their experience. So you know how recruiters are constantly looking for, oh, I want a data analyst with 5 years of experience. So how do you build up those years of experience? Is by working hand in hand with experienced professionals already existing in the industry. So when they're working on a project, you, on the other hand, you are also working on that project. And this is how you can comfortably be able to build up your skills, even while you are still trying to transition. Okay, so feel free to check us out on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, the same name, Tenalytics, also on our website at www.tenalytics.io. And who am I that I've been speaking to you for the last couple of minutes? So my name is Chukwuemeka Eba, and I pride myself as a dynamic tech consultant because I've played a couple of roles that exist in this tech industry. Prominent one is GRC, which has to do with cybersecurity, and also fully in strategic consulting. Right. So prior before becoming the CEO of Tenalytics, I've worked in a couple of places, a business growth consultant in the hospitality space, data analytics innovator in the fintech industry, head of control also in the fintech space, as well as a governance, risk, and compliance specialist in the banking sector. Presently, I am working as a talent development consultant in Africa and, of course, across Europe. Okay, so feel free to also connect with me on LinkedIn at Chukwuemeka Ekpa, or Twitter at Emeka_Heist, or Instagram at Ekpa_Chooks. So we're going to jump right into our conversation for today. We've used that 5 minutes to do a little bit of intro and for everyone to understand where we are coming from. Okay, so first thing I want every single one of us to understand is, what exactly am I going to take out from this conversation? Okay, what exactly am I going to take out from this conversation? Number one thing I want everyone to be able to go home with is for you to understand the findings from analyzing these jobs. Okay, once you're able to analyze the findings that we got from those analyses that we carried out, it's going to give you headway into some of the needs that you currently have. Okay, and number two is also understand the technical and employability skills to get these jobs. All right, the technical and employability skills to get these jobs. So this is where most people always fall out, okay? Especially in this tech ecosystem. There are a lot of us that exist in this industry that when it comes to technical skills, we are fully there, right? When you mention technical skill, what's the expertise in using Nmap or using Draw.io or using Python? 100%. But when it comes to employability skill, do we still have what it takes to be employed? Okay, excluding those technical skills, do we have the other aspect of skills that is necessary for us to be employed? So that's part of what we are going to be discussing today. And then lastly, how do you package and position yourself for all these jobs? Okay, so number one, you need to understand the findings that we had. Number two, also understand the technical and employability skills that you need for you to be able to land these jobs, and also how to package yourself and position yourself for all these jobs. Please, let's confirm that we can all hear me loud and clear again. Please, let's confirm that we can hear me again. Can we all hear me? Because we are about to jump right into the exact. Okay, thank you, user. Fantastic. And one final touch, okay? If today is the first time that you are joining any of our sessions, please feel free to drop in a 1 in the comment section. But if you've been here before, drop in any number as it pleases you. Okay, if you've been here before, drop in any number so that I also understand the demographic of people that I'm speaking to and how we are going to go about this conversation this afternoon. Okay, okay, fantastic. I can see a lot of 1111. Omolara dropped a 50. Wow, that's a fantastic. Does that mean that you've been here 50 times? I hope not. Okay, that's just on a light note. Okay, can see that we have a lot of first timers in our midst. Okay, so see what we are going to do right now. Make sure you fill the attendance form that my colleagues are going to be dropping in the comment section. Okay, so with that attendance form, we are going to be able to share the slide that we're using for this conversation and also the recorded version of everything that we're going to be discussing. Okay, because a call might come in, children might come to disturb, your friends or family members can come in, and you might miss out on what we are talking about. So it's important that you fill the attendance form so that we can always send the slide to you and also send the recorded version of this conversation. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So first thing I love speaking from is I love speaking from a place of data. Okay, I love speaking from a place of data. So what exactly is data from Indeed saying with regards to this? Okay, what exactly have we seen from what the data on Indeed is saying? So once you get the slide, simply click on this place also, and it's going to take you to where we've been able to post the entire data that we were able to get. So getting data for this analysis was not easy. I'm not going to lie, it wasn't an easy one. Fortunately or unfortunately, indeed, they have a closed space that they don't really provide an API for some of this scraping. So it was very, very challenging for us to be able to find the jobs that they've posted for the past couple of years. But we were lucky to run into an already existing work through their hiring lab. So if you go to GitHub, there's a place that they posted a couple of details on what they've analyzed from several jobs, and it's updated every week. Okay, so that is where we got most of our data from for us to be able to run this analysis. So if you're seeing my screen right now, this is GitHub. Okay, this is GitHub. And GitHub is just a place where people can always commit things to repository, and your codes can easily be seen by other people. And that is what we are going to be using for what we are analyzing today. So quickly, if you can see my screen, you can see a couple of countries that exist here. So it's going to give you an idea into some of these countries. You can see Great Britain, which we are going to use for UK, also Northern Ireland and Scotland and the others. Then we're going to also use CA, which is Canada, as well as US, which represents US. So we're going to use these three main countries for our analysis. But there's one thing I want us to understand first, the methodology of what we're about to do now, okay? So the repository contains data from Indeed's hiring labs, okay? It contains data from Indeed's hiring lab. And see one thing I want every single one of us to take note of, okay? So there is what we call a base mark, all right? And the base mark for our analysis was gotten from February 1st, 2020, according to Indeed. Okay, so what it simply means is that the assumption is that as of February 1st, 2020, 100 jobs were posted on Indeed for that exact day. So there is now what we call index. So if you come to February 2, 2020, if you see something around 101%, it signifies that there is a 1% increase in the jobs that were posted from that February 1st, 2020. So indexing is what they use to communicate the number of jobs and how the job market has shifted from that February 1st, 2020 to right now, which is more than 5 years. Okay, February 1st, 2020 to right now, more than 5 years. So let's get right into it. So once you also click on my slide, you have access to all these data. So I've been able to scrape it for you. Okay, so you don't have to go to the GitHub account to do anything there. I have been able to scrape it for you. Okay, so once you click on it, first thing you're going to see the UK, you're going to see US, you're going to see Canada, as well as others. Then you're going to see the sector. Okay, I want us to first of all look at this sector. So out of all the jobs that we saw on Indeed, we realized that there are 47 unique sectors that exist there. 47 unique sectors. We have accounting, administrative assistants, architecture, and so many others. 47 unique ones. Okay, and we also notice that out of these 47, what exactly do they need? What exactly made up majority of what is existing there? So this is what this sector job title represents. Okay, but when you come into the UK sector, you're also going to see all the jobs that are listed there and so on and so forth. So I'm going to save us the trouble of doing the analysis right now, but you are going to watch me and see what happened. Okay, remember, this is a conversation. And if you have any question, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. I'm going to pick it at any time, most likely towards the end, because your question, I'm sure, is part of what I'm going to answer. Okay, so if you have any question, feel free to drop it in the comment section, and I'm going to get onto it before you know it. Okay, so let's go back to our slide. So after this analysis, what exactly did we notice from all the things that we saw on Indeed? Number one is over 470,000 jobs has been posted from January till date, right? 470,000 jobs has been posted from January till date. And one major factor that we've noticed, one summary to all this, is that there is a decline in most sectors and there is an increment in some sectors. But the dominant increase that we noticed was increase in the tech posted jobs. Okay, so there was an increase in the number of jobs posted from the tech industry. Okay, I'm going to show us something that is very, very understandable. All right. So what I want us to say, remember I mentioned that we have 47 different main sectors identified. 47 different sectors identified. And this includes the tech industry inside it. So tech is like one out of these 47. Then out of the entire 47, we also realize that 19 of these different sectors require the need for tech skill. So 19 out of the entire 47 require the need for tech skill before you can actually perform what you have to do. So what does this entail? Not just that tech sector is the one with the highest increase with regards to job availability, but 19 out of the other jobs are also needing the skills of a tech professional. So let's go back to our slide, our data, so that can also show us something. All right, so let's go back to our data. So you can see here, we have accounting as part of the jobs that are existing here. If you come to the sector job title example, let's look for accounting as an instance. If you look for accounting here, you're going to see sector is accounting, job title, accountant, and as well as financial analysts. And for you to be able to function as a financial analyst, there is need for you to have a tech skill. All right, so that is why it is also added that tech skill is needed here. Now, if you take a look at the jobs that doesn't require any tech skill, you're going to see that they are all either somehow in the health space, or they are jobs that require you to do full manual labor. Okay, so let's have a look from number 6 to number 11. So number 6 is mentioning beauty and wellness. That's hairstylists, salon managers, and then childcare, which is preschool teachers, babysitters. Then we have civil engineering, which has to now do with environmental health and so on and so forth. Then cleaning and sanitation, which is housekeeping and cleaner. Community and social service, which is now social worker, case manager. Construction, which has to do with laborer and equipment operator. So one major thing we also identified is that the jobs that do not require tech skill are jobs that are manually intensive, that are manual labor intensive. So this is not me. This is the analysis of what we've seen from the jobs from Indeed. Okay, the ones without tech skill requirements are the ones that you have to now do manual labor. It is your hand skills. Okay, the one that you have to personally execute with the skill of your hands. And then you cannot get down, you cannot see things like dental. Remember, I mentioned health as well. So 2 basic things you can do right now regards to applying to jobs that you are not going to require any technical skill is 1, you are doing things that are hands-on intensive with regards to hairstylist, babysitter, cleaner, housekeeper. You don't need any tech skills for you to be able to do that. And number 2, as at now, is also some of the health space jobs. Okay, you can see dental assistant, dental hygienist. For now, there is no major tech skill required for them. But I'm sure that with time, this is also going to be infused because it is most likely going to be needed for them to be able to execute faster. Right, so let's scroll down a little bit. You can see things like teacher and instructor in the tech skill. Control engineer, which is also in the engineering space, in the tech skill. Then food preparation and service, which is now cook, server, hospitality and tourism, porter, concierge. Of course, you don't need a tech skill. So it's still taking us back to what I've already said, that the jobs that you can perform right now without infusion of any tech skill fully are jobs that require you to be manual labor intensive. Okay, so the question you now have to ask yourself is, do you want to tilt towards the manual labor intensive jobs, or do you want to tilt to the one that can easily be able to do from anywhere, remote wise, from any country as well? So that's not just it. Let's now look at the full analysis that we got there. Okay, so in UK alone, the tech jobs, they were below the baseline. So remember what I mentioned about baseline. So baseline means that as at February 1st, 2020, 100 jobs were posted. Okay, now that is the basics of now the increments. So in UK alone, the baseline for both tech and non-tech job declined. But what you realize is that the tech jobs are still stronger than the non-technical ones, even though the baseline index declined. Okay, and then the momentum from January to date have also been increasing regards to the tech. So tech has been on a plus 2.37%, while non-tech has been on a 0.72%. Okay, and then out of the entire days that we have in this year, 71% of those days, the tech index has actually been leading more than any other sector of the economy. Okay, so this is also still telling us the same thing. And when you look at it from the Canadian perspective, also the same, right? The tech is also dominant. The difference is just in the metrics of the numbers, but it is also the same. If you look at it from the USA landscape, also the same thing. So the blueprint is already existing for us right now. The blueprint is already existing for us. The question now is, are we going to make sense of the data and be able to utilize it? And all this tech, which exact aspect is actually dominant? Which aspect is actually increasing and which side is declining? Because while we're also hearing all these things, some companies are also letting go of some tech staff. Okay, so the question you have to now ask yourself is, which one do I need to get into for it to also be able to last me for a long time? So what we also try to do is to analyze for this week alone. So this week alone, we saw something that is very, very humongous. Personally, I didn't believe it, but we saw up to 15,000 jobs across UK, US, and Canada. Okay, and dominantly across all these three countries, realize that project management seems to be a dominant factor of one of the jobs that has high job availability. You can see in UK, 584, in US, 2,104 jobs were posted this week alone. And then in Canada, we have 593. Okay, so another aspect you can also see is product design is also on the rise as well. So in UK alone, we have over 3,000, in US over 2,000, and then in Canada, there is now a little bit of around close to 200. But one major factor that we notice is that out of all these jobs, okay, there were up to 15,000 jobs posted in UK, US, and Canada on Indeed alone. Okay, on Indeed alone, close to 15,000 jobs were posted. So let it not be like I'm just quoting numbers. Let's get into Indeed and even see if the numbers have actually shifted. Okay, I hope my Indeed is okay. My Indeed is here. This should be the yeah, this is the US account. Yeah, it's US. This is US. Okay, so let's look for project manager. So you can see that in project management alone, let me remove last 7 days. Let me even change the date a little bit. Okay, because last 7 days is what I used to get the 1 week analysis. So for the last 24 hours alone, how many jobs exist there right now? Let's even see what we have. So over 100 jobs. That's UK account. Okay. Let me confirm. Okay, let me be sure. All right. Thanks for pointing that out for me. Let me change my country to United States. Thanks for pointing that out, Aziz. Okay, so this is US right now. Let's look for project management. Okay. Project manager. All right, let's see how many jobs that they have right there. A project manager can see over 143,000 jobs. Now, let's bring it down to last 7 days, which is exactly what happened this week. You can see this week alone, it has actually increased because when I did this analysis, it was just early yesterday, right? This week alone, last 7 days, over 14,000 jobs. But the question right here now is, how many of us on this call actually apply to, up to 5 jobs this week? How many of us apply to up to 5 jobs this week? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Let's have a conversation. How many of us applied up to these 5 jobs in a week? So the question most time is not that jobs are not available, is that the ones that are there, do you have the skill for you to be able to function in that space? Okay? Do you have the skill for you to be able to function? Okay, user mentioned that she has applied to up to 20 jobs rather. Fantastic. So you have only one person that out of 143 that have applied to 20, but I think the skill is the problem. Fantastic. So I'm also happy that you've realized where your own concern lies. Okay, so what we've also done is, of all these jobs, we've also highlighted all the skills needed for you to get into them. Because one basic thing that people do not understand most time is that jobs are available, but the question is, do you have the skill to get into them? So we just did only project managers for the last 1 week, and unfortunately or fortunately, it's even over 14,000, which means even the 15,000 that I got as I yesterday is already null and void. Now, this is just in the US alone, right? This is just in the US alone. So I would have loved to also do it in the UK so that I can also see that all this actually exists. But the basic question is, do I have what it takes? And remember, this is just one job board indeed. Okay, this is just one job board indeed. Let's start for project manager. Okay, it's telling me keywords. What have I typed? Let me check and see what is going on. All right, we've changed it to United Kingdom. Let's see what it's also giving us. All right, let's see what it is giving us. But I mean, this is an open source data that every one of us can easily log onto Indeed and find out what exists there. So you can see that these jobs are actually available. The question is, do I now have the skills and what it takes to be able to land them? Okay, do I have the skills for all these places that we have highlighted? Now, in the UK specifically, you can also see clearly that just this week alone, all these jobs were over 200 for each of them. For each of them. Now, how many are we actually that are looking for these jobs? We're just 150 on this call, roughly 150. And I'm sure we are scattered across up to 10 countries. Let's say we are 15 in each country. It simply means that there is job available. The question now is, am I looking at the right place and do I have the right skills? So this is for UK, this is for US, and also this is for Canada. The same thing. All these things are available. And this is just this week. And I'm also going to walk us through a couple of people that have been able to also do this from their own aspects, from their own side, both in the UK, both in US, both in Canada, both in Nigeria, both in Ghana, several countries, and from different sectors of the economy. Personally, I studied civil engineering, my first degree, before I transitioned to tech. My founder studied industrial chemistry, my co-founder studied economics, but today we run a full-fledged tech company. So if three of us that do not have any computer science background or any information technology background can transition to tech and be able to have and run a company, it should tell you that you also can actually be able to do the same thing. Okay, so in 2024 alone, the hiring in the tech industry also increased by 5.8%. So let's look at it from historical wise, 5.8%. Okay, and then in UK also alone, it's increased by 3.4%. All right, and then in Canada as well, there was also an increment of 4.6. So let's bring it home. Let's bring it home to us here at Analytics. So for 2024, we have over 350 people that move from our own classroom into landing jobs, which what it represents is that for each day that we come to work, one person is mentioning, oh, I got a job, okay? And that is 2.5% increase from what we did in 2023, okay? And for the 5 years that we've been operating, close to 3,000 people has been able to make this same switch. Now, it is not rocket science. It's simply finding where the gaps are and plugging it early. All right, finding where the gaps are and then pushing the plug in early. Now, 2025 is already about to end. I can tell you also that year to date, the data is also very, very promising. Okay, the data is also very, very promising. And remember, I mentioned that people have been able to make this switch from different sectors. So you might be thinking, okay, all these jobs that exist in UK, US, and Canada that we've looked at from the Indeed report, can I, that I am just a teacher, transition to become a data analyst? Can I, that I'm just a customer service person, transition to become a cybersecurity professional? All these things are possible. Okay, but very importantly, you need to notice that you need to find where you have transferable skills and plug it into from there. So let's have a look at some people that have made this switch from analytics alone, from the medical space, because the question I always get is that, oh, but Chukwemeka, I'm a nurse. Can I actually be able to make this switch? Evelyn did the same, right? So Evelyn has been in the nursing sector for 15 years. But when she came to us, she mentioned, I want to be able to work from my house now. Okay, I think I've paid the dues with regards to going into office physically. I want something that I can do from the comfort of my house. We looked at Evelyn's background. We found where she has some transferable skills even before she got into nursing, and Evelyn transitioned to become a data engineer. Okay, so we also have John. John transitioned from being a medical doctor to becoming a data analyst. From being a medical doctor to being a data analyst. And also we have Toyin's transition from being a pharmacist to also being a data analyst. Now, for all the three of them, I think Toyin is presently working with the NHS. So before, she was working as a pharmacist in the NHS, but she now upskilled and got data analyst job skills, and now transitioned to data analytics department as an health informatics analyst. Okay, also in the same NHS. Okay, but the difference now for her is that she can comfortably work from the comfort of her house. She can come in and work remotely, and she has off days. But before, as a pharmacist, she didn't have that. Connection I hear is also very important. Okay, that's Olola De Michael. All right. So all this is to tell you that it is possible for you to make that same switch. Okay, so this is just the health space, because the question people are going to have in their head now is, does it mean that for me to transition, I need to have a science background? No. We also have people that have moved from non-science background. Okay, Temi Vaughan, Temi moved from being a lawyer to transitioning to business analysis. Okay, same thing for Osalbo. Osalbo transitioned from being a sales personnel to business analysis, as well as Ngozi. She moved from being a customer service rep to a business analyst. So this is to clearly show you that whether you're in the science field or whether you are coming from the arts background, there is a pathway that exists for you in the tech space. Okay, and even if you are coming from a no background at all, Ikmat's story is one that should motivate you. So Ikmat moved from being a full-time stay-at-home mom in the UK to landing 2 visa-sponsored jobs in data analytics. Okay, and I think I need to play Ikmat's story so that we can just hear it within the next 2 minutes. Okay, so let's hear what Ikmat has to say. Okay, so every one of them, there is link attached to it that I can easily click and hear what they have to say. Okay, so let's make sure that we fill the attendance form so that by the time we are done with this conversation, you have the slide, you have the recorded version, and you can go through the slide and play as much recording from the past people as much as you want. But let's hear what Ikmat had to say.
Is he helping us to scope out?
Hi everyone, my name is Ikmat, and I was with the March cohort in Analytics, and joining Analytics has been the best decision so far. You know, for me, someone coming from a background of full housewife, because I had to stay back home to look after my child for 4 years, and then wanting to break into something new, wanting to go back into the workforce, you know, wanting to place myself in the society for better job opportunities. So it was a lot. And then I'm glad that Analytics came along, and then they presented me with so many opportunities right in front of me, better opportunities. And then I'm glad I took it. And then also the advice of do not sell yourself short, that Ife is always saying, it is very, very valid, because place yourself right, you know, don't sell yourself short. It's a very, very, very valid advice. You know, in Analytics, they will hold your hands like a child, you know, through the modules. You have the opportunity to go back and study. You have the opportunity to go back and practice. You have the opportunity to ask questions. You know, you have people you can always go back to even outside of class hours. It's the most amazing experience so far, really. And then another thing is the interview prep, guys. That is another very important thing. I did my interview prep with Mr. Mohammed, and it is the best decision ever, because he was like, he saw into the future. He knew what was going to be asked. And I'm glad that I wrote down all the things he mentioned. I went back to practice, and then when it was time for the interview, it was like everything he was mentioning, everything he mentioned, it was just they kept on. And then when I was answering those questions, I was so confident, because I already practiced. I did an Excel test, I did a math test, and then they were really impressed. And another thing is, guys, it may not come as fast as you expect. Definitely you are going to get some no's, and then you may begin to think you're not good enough. You are good enough, yes. The no's will come, but always take it as a basis for learning and development, because after every interview where I got a no, I always make sure I get a personal feedback. So I work on those feedbacks for my next interviews. And yes, it worked. It really worked for me, because I got my first job 3 months into the program, my first job. But I couldn't take up the job because I was a student and I was only eligible to work 20 hours. So I couldn't take up the job. 3 months later, I got 2 jobs with full visa sponsorship. And guys, all the other no's before the 2 jobs prepared me for the yeses I got. So yes, the no's will come, but do not give up, because you always have analytics to go back to. They are the best.
All right, fantastic. I hope we all heard what Ikmat had to say. Now, I even forgot she got a job 3 months into the program, but she was not able to take it up because she was still a student. She had limited working hours. Then 2 months after she completed it, she now got 2 extra. But of course, the no's will come, right? The no's are going to definitely come. But now is you consistently pushing, they're going to land what you're looking for. In the end, she landed 2, and she was able to select the one that suits her bills fully. And this 2025 so there are a lot of success story already existing. Okay, you can see my screen, can see requests coming in from Robot Half for us to be able to provide reference for someone, because this is also what we do for people, as well as a reference coming in from ManCap Resourcing as well, for us to provide reference letter. And also Mary's story is what I love so much. I love Mary's story because when Mary came, Mary was all about, I do not know what to do. She joined the business analysis program in 2024. And March 2025, that is when she got what she was looking for also. So the truth is that sometimes we always want it at that initial time. Before I joined this school, I was in a clarity call with somebody. And what the guy mentioned is that, that he has just 1 month to spare. And after that 1 month, he doesn't know what else to do. So for you, that you still have more than 1 month, the time for you to start preparing is actually now. Okay, it's now that you need to actually learn all those skills and be able to transition. Now, for you to be able to be like these people that have been able to make this same switch, what exactly do you need to do? Okay, so remember we've looked at, first, we looked at the data from Indeed. We've seen the jobs available. We've seen where it's pointing towards. We've seen the success stories of people that were able to do the same thing. Now, the question is, what was the winning formula for them? What did they do that made them to get to where they were? So first is you need to learn. Okay, most time people love to jump into things without learning it properly. For instance, now if I go to LinkedIn right now, I'm going to see a lot of people with data analytics in their bio. Okay, so once you go to their bio, you're going to see, oh, this person is a data analyst, this person is a data analyst. But if you give them SQL and say, okay, use SQL and go into this database, bring out this table for me, will you be able to do that? So the first thing that you need to actually do is to learn. Now, after learning comes packaging. Okay, after learning comes packaging. So packaging from the aspect of you're now optimizing your CV, your LinkedIn optimization, your portfolio, your mentorship, and so on and so forth. Very, very important interview preparatory sessions. And then also, you now need to be able to get to the point of applying to the jobs. So clearly, we all saw what happened when we checked. We saw over 15,000 jobs posted for project management in US alone. And out of 150 people on the call, only one person mentioned that he or she has applied to up to 20 jobs this week. So the challenge is not actually with regards to whether the jobs are existing. The challenge is, are we actually applying to them? And when it comes to applying, there's also a formula that works. Never reuse one CV over again. What we all do is just easy apply, easy apply, easy apply. So to the person that said that he or she applied to 20 jobs this week, did you use easy apply, or were you tailoring your CV down to each of those jobs? Now, it is a job on its own, right? Working on your CV is a job on its own, because you need to know how to tailor it down to the jobs that you are going for. So once you are able to apply these three winning formula that we have right here, learn, package, and apply, definitely you are going to land that job that you are looking for. This is the formula that a lot of people have actually used here. We have Judith. Judith, when she came to us, she was HR back in Nigeria, and she moved to United Kingdom, but she also struggled with what she was doing. She was working as a carer. She said, oh, I don't want to do this for long. Okay, I don't want this to be what I'm going to do for a long time. So she came in, learned business analysis, packaged herself properly, applied to jobs, and she's presently also working as a business analyst remotely from Huddersfield. Okay, you can also click on that link there to watch and hear what Judith had to say. Okay, so all these are success stories of people that have been able to do and pass through the same process. But for that learning program, for that learning aspect, how exactly do you need to learn? Okay, how exactly do you need to learn? So number one is, before you even jump into learning, you need to understand what are you going to learn? Okay, because the easiest way for you to be able to break into tech is to break in from a place that you have transferable skills. So I'm going to give us an example. Let's assume that this is Mr. Okay, I hope my barrow is writing. Okay, he's writing. This is Mr. C, right? So this is Mr. C, and Mr. C used to be a teacher back in Ghana. Okay, and by virtue of being a teacher, Mr. C has interacted with the students, interacted with the management of the school, and also interacted with the parents. So what this means is that Mr. C has dealt with three different stakeholders. So indirectly, without knowing, Mr. C has done what we call stakeholder analysis. So, and Mr. C is now looking to transition into tech. So what he now needs to know is this indirect skill that I had when I was teaching, what aspect of tech does it actually exist in? That is where you now have your business analysis. Okay, so that is where you now have your business analysis. So by virtue of Mr. C, sorry, can we all still hear me? All right, yeah, I think I dropped there for a moment. So by virtue of Mr. C actually serving as a teacher, Mr. C stakeholder analysis. So what this simply means is that he can easily now utilize that same skill and break into business analysis. I mentioned I am able to, as a business analyst, when I was teaching in this school, I was able to manage these guys, manage that guy, and can comfortably speak about it. But remember, I was just a teacher back in Nigeria. Okay, remember, I was just a teacher back in Nigeria. Can we all still hear me? Can we all hear me? All right, fantastic. I can see that I'm frozen on my other screen. That's why I'm just worried whether you guys can still hear me. If you're still in this comment, please drop it on our comment section. If you are still with me up to this moment, please, one, drop any emoji, anything, so that I'll be sure there are people that are still listening to about it. If you are still following us to this moment, please drop any reaction. Sorry, guys. I didn't even know that I was not on the call anymore. You cannot hear me again. I will be hearing me. Can we hear me again now? Please, if you can help us, drop any reaction so that I'm sure that I'm fully committing to everyone. All right. If you can hear me, drop any comments, anything in the comment section so that I'm sure that I'm here. Hi, are you there? Can you hear or see anybody? Are we still here? Can anyone
Hi,
hear me?
Emeka, your voice is breaking.
Or is it still breaking now?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's strange. That's strange. That's strange. It shouldn't. Okay. All right. So just tell me if I drop off or if at any point my voice starts, disconnecting. But for every other person on this call, have we been following me till the very moment where I was describing the Mr. C that used to be a teacher and right now is trying to train the text? Did we get the gist up to that moment? Did we get the gist up to that? And you're trying to break into the tech space, and then you're looking at where you have initial work experience. Fantastic. I can see a couple of reactions. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. All right. So that is how you also, if you are looking to transition into the tech industry, the easiest thing that you have to do is to transition from a place of transferable skill. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't get into the other ones, all right? It doesn't mean that you can't get into them. You can get into them, okay? You can 100% be able to break into anyone that you desire to get into. But the question is, how long will it take you to be able to transition? Okay, so that time is now what we are looking for ways to make it as short as possible. Okay, how long will it take you for you to be able to transition? Okay, but once you are moving from a place of transferable skill, it is something that you can easily get into as fast as possible because you have experience that is backing you up. Okay, you have experience that is backing you up. So what have we done from our own side? Remember, we're talking about what do I need to learn? So what we did from our own side is we analyzed several job boards. Okay, so we analyzed several job boards, Indeed, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, Bullets In, and so on and so forth. And what we are looking to do is just simple. How and which jobs are people meant to learn? Okay, so we analyze all these jobs. The way you saw me analyzing Indeed, this is what we do every year for us to find which job are we going to, which courses do people actually need to learn. Okay, you can see LinkedIn, you can see Indeed, you can see Glassdoor, you can see CV Library, Monster, and so many others. So we analyze all this and then passed it through what we call the World Economic Forum reports. Okay, so what the World Economic Forum report is showing us is which career paths are actually going to decline and which ones are going to increase in the next coming years. Okay, which ones are going to decline and which ones are going to increase in the next coming years. So for me, we're able to also see the couple of jobs that people are trying to get into that we know that in the next coming years, those jobs are going to not to be there anymore. Then lastly, we also did what we call regional analysis. So this is very, very crucial. For instance, if you're in UK, we want to be sure that these jobs are also part of jobs that can get you into the skilled worker visa. Okay, so if you've been following the immigration changes before now, if you are doing any job that is up to RQF of level 3 before, you can get a skilled worker visa. But after the entire changes that happened a couple of months back, for you to get a skilled worker visa in the job that is up to RQF of level 6. So that means that the skill that you're looking to acquire, is it going to get you those jobs that you are looking for? Okay, so this is for everybody, Angel. I can see that you're asking if this is for people in Accra. It's for everybody. If you joined earlier, you can see that we have people joining from UK, US, Canada, Trinidad and Tobago, Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, a lot of places, because tech is a global skill. Okay, now after the UK, we also looked at it from the US perspective. Is it part of the ones that is going to give you the H-1B visa acceptance? Okay, I know there's a lot of news around H-1B right now because of the new law that our boss out there just brought out that for you to come in as H-1B visa, the company needs to pay $100,000. But what does that actually mean for people that exist in the tech space? It means one thing, that recruiters are also going to start doing remote opportunities. Because who wants to pay $100,000? So in the event that that law becomes concrete, it's going to also open up possibilities for remote jobs in US, a lot of it. Okay, a lot of it. Then in Canada as well, is also amongst the jobs that is going to give you the provincial nominee programs and also the SASC Tech Pathway. So after all these analyses that we carried out, sorry guys, I think something entered my eyes. After all these analyses that we carried out, we realized that there are basically 10 different pathways for anyone to take. 10 different pathways. You can decide that you want to move from business analysis, from data analysis, from data science, from agile product management, from data engineering, cybersecurity, HR analysis, financial analysis, and then also DevOps engineering and product design. DevOps engineering and product design. So clearly, you can see that there are a lot of possibilities out there for you. But remember what I said earlier, the catch is now in finding the place where you have transferable skills into. So if your transferable skills are tilting towards business analysis, then you go through it. If it's tilting towards HR analysis, then you go through it. If it's tilting towards cybersecurity, then you go through it, because that is where you can comfortably also be able to utilize your initial years of experience. Okay, but we're going to have a quiz before we finish. Okay, just in the next 5 minutes, we'll have a quiz right here. And that quiz is just for you to be able to take the quiz, for you to find a career path that you are most likely aligned to. Okay, because this is where most people make mistakes in choosing the exact one that is meant for them. Okay, in choosing that exact career path. Now, moving on. After we've identified all these 8 courses, what else did you also see from the World Economic Forum report? Remember, we passed our analysis through the World Economic Forum report. This is just a convention that happens every year, where world leaders come together to discuss on some certain topics. And we realized that as of 2025, most jobs require basically all these top 16 skills that I have right here. You can see you are seeing analytical thinking, resilience, leadership, and so on and so forth. This is the core skill that before now recruiters are looking for. And they are all tilted towards cognitive skill and self-efficacy. In fact, before you even see one tech skill, you have to get to number 6, which is technological literacy. But from that same World Economic Forum report, we're now seeing changes, growth happening. Where is the world moving towards? According to the WEF report, the skills on the rise as of today, the number 1 is now AI and big data. Number 2, networks and cybersecurity. Number 3, technological literacy. So you can see, before now, tech skills were not even amongst the top 5 skills that recruiters look out for. I can see what Otinificient is asking, which one is the highest paying job? We're also going to get there. I mentioned that any question that you have, trust me, is on this slide. Just give me a couple of minutes and I'm going to get there. You can see that clearly it is now tilting towards tech skills being the first three skills that you need to have before you now start seeing creative thinking, resilience, and flexibility, which is now around cognitive skills. Okay, so when you get the slide, feel free to also click here that I have this report. You have access to the full-blown World Economic Forum reports. Okay, but remember, for you to have access to it, you need to fill the attendance form, and then also for us to be able to send you the slide and recorded version. Now, we've seen the skills on the rise. Now, the question now is, how is the world aligning to all these skills? So from that same web report, by 2030, there's a lot of shifts that is going to happen. All right, 170 million jobs are going to be created. Okay, and then after this creation happens, 92 million jobs are going to disappear. That's a net value of, I think, 78 million jobs. Okay, so all these red segments represent jobs that are going to decline or vanish. This blue represent jobs that will remain stable, while these green represent jobs that are going to be created new. So what you want to do is to make sure that you move from this left-hand side towards this right-hand side. And what does that mean in terms of jobs? Let's look at it right now. The fastest growing job as of today is the big data specialist. All right, so all the jobs that you can see on this left-hand side represent jobs that are going to grow. The one on this right-hand side represent jobs that are going to decline. So you can see that the fastest growing job as of today is big data specialist. I know many of us will be thinking it is AI and machine learning, which is why I say that sometimes we don't know when these distributions are made. So if you go through the WEF report of 2024, you realize that the fastest growing job as of 2024 was AI and machine learning. So what happened in 2025? Big data specialists knocked it down. And the reason for that is that there is a lot of noise, there's a lot of creations around AI right now. But remember, no matter what you are building, someone needs to be able to input the data, analyze the data, process the data, and store that data. So for that to happen, because of those advancements in AI and machine learning, it also gave higher rise to big data specialists. Okay, and that is why big data specialists now knocked it off from the #1 fastest growing jobs and now became the fastest growing job. Okay, and that validates that if you move towards data engineering, your job is safe. Okay, so not just the big data specialists, can also see right here, you have your data warehousing specialists, you have your data engineers as well. I'm going to also still explain all these big grammars. Data engineers, what do they do? Data scientists, what do they do? I know many of us, we are eager to jump right into, okay, what am I going to, and so on and so forth. We are not after those things. What I'm after is to make sure I pass the value to you, and then the decision is now up to you to make. Okay, so after data engineers, we now realize that data analysts and data scientists, they are also validated to be relevant in the next coming years. The reason is this: if you are tilting towards AI and machine learning, is a subset of data science, right? AI and machine learning is a subset of data science. And then we also have data analysts and data scientists fully validated here, meaning that if you go towards that path, in the next coming years, your job is safe. Then we also have cybersecurity, okay? You can see your security management specialist right here. You can see your Internet of Things, and of course, your information security analyst, meaning that your job is also among the fastest growing ones. Then process automation specialists, which represent business analysts. And then, of course, we have your UI and UX designers, because someone needs to also build the user experience of all these products. And that is what is also giving rise to product designers. Okay, and then of course, we have DevOps engineers. So DevOps engineers is also validated. So you can see that all those 10 jobs that we selected, they are amongst the fastest growing career paths. Okay, so there is reason why we didn't select others. For instance, we're not doing robotics engineering, we're not doing blockchain developers, we're not doing renewable energy, because we use 3 basic criteria to do our analysis. First is ease of learning. Then number 2 is ease of transitioning. And then number 3 is high rewarding salary. So of all the jobs that you can see on this left-hand side, every single one of them will give you high rewarding salary. But the question now is it going to be easy for you to learn? Is there a transferable skill from what you've been doing into this career path? So just a quick question. How many of us on this call think they can do robotics engineering? You can become a robotics engineer just by listening to the name. Do you think you have transferable skills into robotics engineering? And do you think it's a career path that you can learn easily? Nadine said not her. Okay. iPhone said lie. Gift said no. Maureen said me, which means that it's possible that Maureen has transferable skill. And Maju said at all. iPhone said not sure. So that is reason why we don't offer it. Okay, so it doesn't mean that it is not a great career path. It is. But remember, we are also on the race against time. So what we are looking for is which career path can I get into that within a space of 3 to 6 months, I should land a job. Trust me, robotics engineering is not part of it. Renewable energy is not part of it. And that is the reason why we don't offer any of those things. Okay, is it a great career path? Yes. Are you willing to wait for 18 to 24 months to be able to become a professional and land jobs there? Fantastic. But then, do you have 18 to 24 months to wait till you get into those points? So these are the questions that you have to ask yourself. And after that, that's why we realized that these 10 that we selected, most people have transferable skill into them. Okay, I am breaking again. Sorry, guys. Please, I think I can see myself comfortably. Right now, I'm Bruce on my second screen, so I don't think I'm breaking. I can see myself comfortably. All right, so on the other page as well, you also see the other jobs on that left-hand side, validating those courses that I've also selected. Data analytics, data engineers, project managers, business analysis. Now, very important, let's look at the ones that are declining. So if you look at this bottom 10, you're going to see that postal service clerk is the fastest declining career path as of today, followed by bank tellers, data entry, cashiers, admin assistants, and several other ones. But see what caught my attention right here, graphic designers. So when we started talking about this earlier this year, many people did not believe that this is going to happen. Myself, I was also doubtful, is graphic design actually going down? But how many of us have seen this recent trend on social media where you don't have to snap pictures, you don't have to do anything, just know how to prompt, and you can mold yourself with your exact face into any cinematic scene that you want? How many of us have seen it? If you're active on Twitter or Threads or Instagram, it is everywhere. In fact, there's a poster. If you check my Instagram, I'm not a graphic designer, but I constantly post every week. And I utilize prompts to build my posters and things I'm posting. All right. And this is clearly showing you here, graphic designers, guys, it's time for you to actually, make 1 or 2 changes to what you are doing. And what's the easiest thing for a graphic designer to do? Because you already have those graphics understanding. Remember, you have a career path called product design. That's UI UX, which means all you have to now do is infuse that understanding of products into what you are doing, and then you are safe. So the truth is that there is always safety nets, but the problem is, are we actually looking at it? In fact, I went ahead to look at, because I was speaking at a TEDx a couple of weeks back, and what I titled it was a 39% shift. And what exactly does that 39% shift mean? Simply means that 39% of the skill you're currently using to perform any job that you're doing right now is going to change in the next coming years. So it's roughly 4 out of the 10 skills that you're using to perform your task right now. It is going to change, whether you and I like it or not. It is changing. For instance, let's say you used to be an architect way back, where you have to carry your T-square, your drawing board, your drawing table, and so on and so forth with your A3 paper to draw. As at then, and then when the era of Revit, AutoCAD, ArchiCAD came out, you didn't learn how to do it. Do you think you're still going to be relevant? No, you are not. But remember, you're also an architect. There's now an architect that transitioned their skill. So that same phase, we are back at it again. no matter what you and I we are doing right now, 4 out of the 10 skills that we have that we're using to perform our task right now is going to shift. Okay, so the question is, are you going to be ready to get into those places? Now, remember I mentioned that we're going to have a quiz. So this is quiz for everybody. So for you to find the easiest place that you have transferable skills in, we've also designed this quiz platform. So it's just like you're answering a couple of quiz, which after answering it is going to give you a direction towards the career path that you can go into. So I'm going to copy the link and drop it for everyone to try this quiz with me, because it's very, very crucial for you to, first of all, transition to tech. First thing is to find your own transferable skill. So I just dropped the link right now. It's a quiz link, and I'm also going to walk us through it on what and what you need to do. So once you click on it, it's going to bring you to this exact homepage. Okay, so what's your secret tech path personality? Let's discover your own path. Once you click on it, is giving you a lot of landing into the page, and then let's go. So first thing that you need to do is, of course, it is going to ask you to register. So my name is Chukwu Emeka Ekpa. So I'm going to give you my name, mobile number, and then email address. I'm going to use chukwuemeka at tenalytics.io. And then agree to this and next. So once you've done this, once you're able to answer just these couple of questions, it's going to look at what you've done before and select a career path that you have transferable skills into. So before you jump into any course, make sure you take this quiz, right? So first one is, your group chat is blowing up with 47 unread messages. What is your move? Are you going to read everything? Someone might need something. Are you going to skim for keywords, only reply if it's important? Are you going to mute it? You check it later when you have focus time, or you jump in and organize the chaos, or screenshot the mess and think, and then check if it's a security issue. So no matter, just approach this question how you are going to treat it normally. For me, I'm going to skim for keywords, so I don't have that time. So I'll just skim for keywords. Then it's also asking me, what's my current job situation? Okay, I take care of people, that's a nurse, caregiver, healthcare. I deal with customers or clients, that's retail, service, admin. I work with money, that's finance, accounting, banking. I teach or train people. For me, my life has transitioned in such a way that I can't even say I'm a data analyst or cybersecurity or business analyst anymore. So what I even call myself right now is just that I'm an educator. So I'm going to select that because that is where it fits into mine. So I teach or train people. Okay, it's Sunday afternoon. You're most likely to reorganize something, close notes, fall down a rabbit hole, social pin interest, research security, or watch reality show. Sundays is for my relaxation. So I'm going to definitely watch a reality show. Then my boss is asking me, why is this not working? How will I react to it? Okay, how am I going to react to it? First thing is interview everyone involved, understand the full picture, pull up data or numbers to see what's actually happening, think about the user experience, check if people have the right training or support, look for security vulnerability, check for technical infrastructure or code. For me, I'm going to pull up numbers. I'm a data person. No matter any decision I have to make, there has to be a data backup for me. So it's not asking me for Excel, Google Sheets. What's my vibe? I mean, I've been using Excel, Google Sheets. I know how to use all of them. It's not an issue. So I use formulas, pivot table, conditional like a boss. Fantastic. I can do basic stuff. I prefer charts and visuals over raw data. Numbers are fine, but I care more about how systems work. I want to learn, but I'm starting from scratch. I avoid spreadsheets. Remember, answer it holistically, how you are going to approach these things. For me, I'm a boss with all these things, so I'm going to select it as well. Tom says you should learn to code. What's my reaction? First, hell yes. I want to build things and automate everything. Okay? Maybe light coding like SQL queries or simple scripts. I want to design interface. I prefer analyzing data. I'm interested in security. I'd rather manage tech people or tech project than write code. Just answer it the way it is for you. So I'm now going to move into maybe it is SQL for me. And then it's not asking me to pick my dream work environment. Okay, how is my own work environment going to be? Do I love strategy? Do I love to be in deep focus, or do I want to collaborate? Depending on how it also functions for me, I'm also going to answer it. And for me, it is strategy meetings. Okay. And then next, what matters most to me right now? Okay. Is it flexibility? Is it money? Is it security? Is it leadership or learning? What matters to me? I'm going to go for stability. Okay. And then after this, now asking me, what legacy do you want to leave in your own company? Okay. What legacy do you want to leave? You now go through it and also answer the way it also functions for you. Then it's not asking you to forget the logic. Which title just feels right for you? Even if you don't have anyone, you can also select, honestly, I'm still confused. So once you are done and you tap here, it's going to do analysis of everything that you've done, and it's going to give you an outline. So you can see that from all my response, I'm tilting towards being a financial analyst. Okay, all my response, I am tilting towards being a financial analyst. So how many of us has been able to complete our own quiz? Remember, this is the first thing that we have to do. The first is for you to identify where you have transferable skills. Risa is asking me to please stop reading. Risa, how am I going to communicate with 150 people on this call if I'm not speaking to them? All right. So just click on it and then do your, oh, Nadine said business analysis. Please, can you resend the link? Okay. So if you are seeing my screen, you can easily scan the barcode there. Okay. My colleagues have also dropped the link again. That's for you, Favor, and also for the Zoom user. Okay. My colleague just dropped the link again. Okay. And if you are with your phone, you can easily scan the barcode on my screen and it's going to bring you right here. Okay, I can see Nadine mentioned business analysis, Edward, cyber security. Fantastic. So we have only 2 people, 2 over 150. That is alarming. All right, so let's give it 1 minute and allow everybody to, perform their own analysis while I drink water. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, fantastic. I can see 2 other people. Fred is going for business analysis. Joy is tilting towards business analysis as well. Mechi is going towards HR analytics. I am strictly interested in bioinformatics. Fantastic question, Senator. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Now, one major thing that people do not understand is that tech is infused in so many things and is rebranded. Okay, for instance, bioinformatics, health informatics. There's new one that we also have, bio, health. There's one other one, all tilting towards informatics and also geoinformatics. What exactly do they entail? It's simply data analytics, Senator. Right? But recently, everything is modernized. But for you to be a bioinformatics, it means that you already have understanding of the biological workflow of things. You already exist in the health space. But for you to be able to analyze data is an infusion of biology and data. So you already have that health understanding, but you don't have data understanding, which means you need to learn data analytics, and then that is simply bioinformatics for you, Senator. All right, so when you see all those things, bioinformatics, health informatics, geoinformatics, is not simply picking, it has picked the first sector and is now picking the merger into the tech industry, which is data analytics itself. I hope that answers your question. So if that's where you're taking to, if that's strictly for you, then you are already going to go towards data analysis. Okay, Emmanuel is going for data, MEC, HR, Ayotunde data, Lois data, and also business analysis. Fantastic. Health informatics. Yeah. So I have to MC in public health, so I'm presenting towards bio. Fantastic question, Senator. The question that you have to now ask yourself is, if you are presented with health data, can you analyze it? You already have understanding of public health, but do you have understanding of analysis? Now, you need to infuse data into it for you to now be able to become that bioinformatics that you are looking to get into. Okay, fantastic. I think I've gotten up to 10 responses, which means my link is working and people can comfortably be able to use it. If you can't use it right now, remember, fill the attendance form. Once we are done with this conversation, we are going to send the slide to everyone, and then can now take your own time to do that same quiz and be able to find yours. Amaju is a product designer. Fantastic. Now let's move on. Now, how exactly are you going to be learning? So right now, you've already found a career path, okay? You've already found a career path. And if after that quiz analysis, you are still having doubts, there's a link there. Okay, let me go back to it so that I can also show us that. There's a link there where you can book a one-on-one conversation with people that are better than me, all right? And in that one-on-one conversation, they are going to now be able to look at your background and advise you, verbally. So if you find it challenging, what yours landed to is not really where you're tilting to, you're still confused, feel free to click on this, speak to a career coach, and they're going to be tilted to someone, and then you book a Calendly meeting to have a conversation with someone. Please, can you answer this? After taking your training transfer into the tech, how does one get the experience? Because employers will ask for experience. Fantastic question, Dr. Beam. But remember what I said? All your questions is in my slide. But if I jump right now and start answering that question, it's going to disrupt the entire data flow of our conversation. Just give me 10 minutes, Dr. Beam, and I'm going to answer that question. 10 minutes, I'll answer that question. Okay, now I'm at the point of how are people going to learn? So the way you are going to be learning is the way I'm conversing with you right now. That is how someone is going to be in a meeting with you like this, teaching you. It is a live virtual interactive class. Live virtual interactive class. Now, there are going to be scenarios where a couple of videos are also going to provide it for you sometimes for you to watch so that you have some basic understanding before coming to the class. Because any class you are coming to is a practical class. Any class that you are coming to is a practical class. So this is how you are going to be learning. So I consciously added this average salary of all these guys last, after everyone has selected their own courses. Because there is this tendency for people to ignore where their skills are aligned to and start pursuing money. Now, that is the fastest mistake you can make in tech. Oh, I've looked at all this average salary. The one with the highest average is data engineering and cyber security and DevOps. That's the one with the highest average salary. But the question is, do you have transferable skills towards that direction? Okay, so, but what you need to know is that all these career paths here are going to give you high reward salary. So quick question, do you think that a data analyst that is working in oil and gas and a cybersecurity person that is working in, let's say, government parastatal, who do you think is going to earn more? The data analyst in oil and gas or the cybersecurity person in government parastatal? Who do you think will earn more? Fantastic. From Basi mentioned oil and gas. Sorry if I murdered your name. You mentioned oil and gas. Fantastic. And that is the truth. So sometimes the income is also a factor of the sector of the economy that you find yourself in. Okay. A data analyst in oil and gas definitely is going to earn higher than a cybersecurity person in the government employment. But when you look at it from the average income ratio for people in these diverse groups, cybersecurity person will earn higher. And the beauty of all these things is that all these tech skills can work in all sectors of the economy. A business analyst is needed in oil and gas. A business analyst is needed in government. A business analyst is needed in edtech. Is needed in fintech. Is needed in finance. Is needed in banking. So all these technical guys are needed in all sectors of the economy. So it is now for you to now start shooting some of those sectors that their own income is also juicy, rather. Okay. But most important thing first is to transition from a pathway where you have transferable skill, because that simply gives you that ease of transitioning. If you pursue the monetary income first, that is where, if you now start getting towards coding, you now tell yourself, this is not what I planned though, because you were pursuing money. Okay, but clearly all of them is going to give you what you're looking for. Now, packaging is very, very crucial. And that brings me to Dr. Beam's question. Dr. Beam, I hope you are still on this call, okay? So we have an acronym here which stands for competence over credential, okay? Competence over credential. Many people pursue certification, pursue degrees, but competence is what differentiates you. I'm going to take a lift from what the richest man, I think someone knocked him off a couple of weeks back. If you are a hardcore software engineer, this was from Elon Musk, and want to build the everything app, please join us by sending your best work to code@x.com. We don't care where you went to school or even whether you went to school or what big name company you work at. Just show us your code. So what does this translate into? It simply means that the era of certification is over. Nobody actually cares. What everybody wants to hear is what skill and what experience do you have? Just like Doctor mentioned, that experience is very, very crucial. So how do you actually show this experience when you are still learning with us? For instance, someone like Hope, she got her certification in project management. She became a Scrum Master, but she didn't know how to use Jira. And she was still struggling to land a job. She joined us, got those technical experience, and landed a job as a project analyst in Vietnam in Canada. Okay, so all these things are possible, and that brings me to packaging. So, Dr. Beam, the answer to that is packaging. And the first amongst is what we call portfolio. Your portfolio needs to be intact. So remember I mentioned that you have classes, live interactive classes. Now, all these classes, you are going to be working on real life projects. Okay, you are going to be working on real life projects. And when you are asked questions, you can comfortably mention, oh, while I was consulting with analytics, we don't call our students, we call them consultants because we also play in the consulting space. And all those data that we work on, our students also work on it. But the difference is that if the company do not agree for us to share because of data protection, NDPR or GDPR, depending on where data is coming from, you may not know the company that you're working from. Okay, so you're just going to be seeing that you're working for XYZ because the company didn't agree for it. But you can comfortably mention, oh, while I was consulting with analytics, I worked on this project. Now let's look at a portfolio of a past student. Let's see how theirs, worked. Doctor, I hope you are still clearly here. This is Victoria Uchemado's portfolio. So when she was consulting with us, which is training with us, she worked on deep care hospital ER visit analysis. All right. She worked on Redox airline flight analysis. She worked on Express Tech food delivery. She worked on Nestle product analysis, on Zenith Electronics, and also, okay, that's 5 of them. And this represents 5 different sectors of the economy. Zenith is in the tech space. Nestle is in FMCG. Redox is in aviation. Express Tech is in supply chain, and Deep Care is in the health sector. And when you click on any of them, you can comfortably be able to see what that person did. All right, so what this translates is that Victoria can comfortably now mention, oh, while I was consulting with analytics, I worked on the hospital, on Deep Care hospital ER visit analysis. And my major focus was, how do I reduce the average waiting time of our patients down to 20 minutes? Because I realized that it is over 35 minutes. I did this, I did that, and I was able to come up with this. So when you speak like this, they are going to know that this person actually worked on a project. Okay, this person actually worked on a project. So clearly, this is what you are going to use to show evidence of experience. So remember, I also mentioned that you need to transition from a transferable skill. So still using that teacher that I used as an example, that transition to business analysis, that teacher can comfortably also use the experience while teaching to explain business analysis, and is also an extra layer of experience for that person. Okay, so excluding the project and the experience they're going to be getting in the program, your initial years of experience is also part of what you are going to utilize, which is why it's important for you to transition from a career path that has transferable skills into what you are doing. Okay, from a career path that has it. User is asking, user, just give me 20 minutes, I should be done. I'm almost at the end of the conversation, okay? In 20 minutes, I should be done. Okay, and this is how, the way we have this portfolio for the data analyst, that is how we also have it for everyone. I know someone is asking if we have for cybersecurity. Yes, we do. Right? But for want of time, I may not be able to go through every single one of them. But I think one of these portfolio here should be for a cybersecurity person. Okay, one of these should be for them. Okay, which is why it's important for us to fill the attendance form where you get the slide, click on all those things there, find the one that also suits your own, what you are looking for. For want of time, let me just, move ahead. Okay, now moving on. After you've had that portfolio, what next do you need to do? Your CV is very important. So what we do here is that 2 months after you've joined our program, 2 months, please, we are going to work on your CV. You're going to submit a prototype to us. We are going to work on your CV and give it back to you. Now, the expectation is now that for each job that you are going for, we expect you to tailor it down to the job that you are going to. It's important to tailor it down. Okay, it is very, very important. And then LinkedIn optimization. People do not still understand that LinkedIn is the fastest, cheapest, and easiest means of hiring. So all recruiters are always going there. So if you're still finding it to be a cringe platform, then you are missing out. We're trying to hire a data analyst in Ivory Coast because we need a French-speaking data analyst. I don't speak French. So what we simply did is that we went to LinkedIn, looked for a data analyst that is speaking French and resident in Ivory Coast. We simply got a couple of people, we interviewed them, and then had our guy. And that's simply from LinkedIn. So if your LinkedIn is still one thing, it's part of what we're also going to put you through. We have what we call a 90 days challenge. Once you join the program, I need help with LinkedIn. I don't know much about it. Fantastic User is part of what the program entails fully. So it's not just the technical skill. All these are the packaging that is now going to make you land those jobs. Then how do you navigate the job market? You can see that today, we only scrape data from Indeed. What we also do from our own side is that we have several job boards, even the paid ones, that we constantly scrape jobs from and then give it to our students to apply. Your own responsibility is simple. Apply to those jobs. So we are going to scrape multiple job postings out there and give it to you. Your own responsibility is now just to apply to the job. And when you also land an interview invitation rather, we are here to also prepare you for interview. For instance, you've been asked the dominant question of tell me about yourself. You're now going round and round and round, and you can simply answer it from what we call the SEAT approach. Okay, skill, experience, achievement, and type of person. Okay, and then you're not asked a situation-based question. That's also what we call the STAR approach, which means situation, task, action, and result. For instance, I've gone for an interview that asked me, oh, Chukwemeka, tell me about a time where you used Power BI to analyze data. Can simply mean, oh, while I was consulting with analytics, I worked on this hospital ER visit analysis. And I had to use Tableau or Power BI to analyze this data. I did this, I did that, and I found out that this one happened and it was 35 minutes that people had to wait. I had to consult the operations guy who did this, we did that, and it reduced it to 20%. Okay, and by that reduction, it made us to have more turnover, which in the end resulted to more revenue. So when you speak like this, they're going to clearly know that this person actually knows what he's talking about. And what we do is when you land this interview invite, we are here to prepare you for all this. And aside that, we also provide you with reference letters. I just saw someone drop the question. I told you guys, any question you have is on my slide. It's on my slide. So we provide you with reference letter and recommendation letter as well. So because you are not a student, you are actually working with us. When you are done and you need a reference letter, we are also able to provide you with that reference letter. And if you are struggling on the job, we are also here to support you on that job till you find your fitting. Then weekly mentorship session is very, very, very important because it's there that you're also going to see past students that have done and gone through what you're passing through. They'll come back to talk to you about, oh, my own time, I was actually writing my thesis. And then I had this challenge. I was able to navigate it through this way and that way. So they're going to speak to you from their own experience so that you don't make the same mistake that they made. And then also Upwork optimization. We are in the era of freelancing. So we're also going to teach you how do you freelance using Upwork to make 50 pounds here, 50,000 naira here, 50 cedis here, and so on and so forth. So all these are part of the packaging that you are going to get. And this entire thing that I've been talking about is going to take you 8 months. So 6 months classroom learning with analytics, and then 2 months internship experience with Amdari. So we have a company that we've partnered with called Amdari. They're also in the consulting space, and they're fully based in the United Kingdom. Right. So what it means is that you have 6 months experience with us, and then 2 months internship with Amdari. And this simply means that you are going to be gaining experience from 2 global companies, which you can comfortably say, oh, while I was consulting with analytics, I did this. While I was interning with Amdari, I did that. And these are things that recruiters want to hear. Remember, I mentioned that with regards to application, we are going to scrape different job boards and provide it for you. But your responsibility is now to apply to all those jobs. So we've done our own part. We've taught you, we've packaged you, we've scraped job boards, and we are going to provide it for you. It's now your responsibility to apply to the job, tailor it down to your own specific, and apply. Our success rate as of right now is at 91%. So what does that mean? 91% success rate means that 91 out of 100 people that come into our program get to move on to good things. I'm not going to, try and sugarcoat it. And then there is a -9 that exists. And we realize that this -9 is not that we didn't give them the same thing that we gave others. The difference now is in the job application phase. Because it is your own responsibility now to apply to those jobs. Some people fall out, they will apply to 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and they are tired. Trust me, you already have the skill. You've packaged yourself. The only thing that you need at that moment is just to continuously keep applying to the jobs. Okay? Remember all this thing I've said is just using 3 different formulas, which is just simple. Learn, package, and apply. Once you're able to do these 3 different things, you are definitely going to land a job. Okay? So all these things on my slide now, they are all success stories of people before you that have also gone through this. Remember, I mentioned that we have over close to 3,000 people that have landed jobs through us. Okay, and we have people that agreed for us to use their face for commercials. We have them fully here. So when you fill the attendance form, you can also go through it and align with anybody that story is also the same thing with yours. Okay, you can see someone like Lois. Lois used to be an accountant. She did business analysis and transitioned to become a project manager. Okay, so all these things are actually possible. These are all success stories of people. I may not be able to go through it every single one of them. So when you get the slide, please go through it and understand all the details of what it takes. But the very important question I want you to ask yourself now is, what skill do you need to have for you to land those jobs? So remember when we scraped Indeed, all those jobs that we saw, there are some things that you need to have for you to be able to understand it. Okay? There's things that you need to have for you to be able to understand it. Now, I'm going to explain all these 10 courses so that on your own, you can now say, oh, data analytics is for me, data science is for me, and data engineering is for me. Once I'm done with that explanation, we are going to round up for the day. Okay? Once I'm done with it, we are going to be done. So first amongst them, let's start with business analysis. This is the point where you bring out pen and paper because you want to be sure that the program that you've selected, that it is actually meant for you and it's not going to give you a headache. Remember, we suffer sometimes because we fight a different battle a different way, but we can always prevent it if we know what it's going to be like. And that's why we are taking our time to explain every single one of these things. Trust me, I can come on this call and just answer everyone's question and go home, but there's some vital information that we actually need. And this one is amongst them. So who exactly is a business analyst? So these are people that come into organization with one aim. I want to improve the processes that exist in this company, okay? And they are constantly interacting and speaking to stakeholders. So if you are someone that you cannot speak, you are shy, you don't like interacting with your colleagues, run from business analysis because you are going to be needed to be interacting with every single stakeholder, okay? Because for you to be able to improve those processes, you need to be able to speak to people, all right? And first thing you are going to be understanding is you also need to understand data. So you also learn Excel, Power BI, and SQL. So it's not going to be as in-depth as the data guy's own is going to be. Yours is going to be superficial because you just need to understand how data works and what you need to do with data. Then once you've been able to see this, when you identify a process that needs to be optimized, that is where process mapping come in. So these three different segments was borrowed from project management. A business analyst, but you have a borrowed course from project management because you are going to be improving processes. And the act of trying to embark on improving a process is you trying to initiate a project, which is why you need to understand project initiation planning as well as Agile and Scrum for projects. Then these last ones that you have here are now your core business analysis skill, software development lifecycle, requirements fundamentals. How do you elicit information from stakeholders? And then stakeholder analysis as well as ChatGPT for business analysis. So these are the tools that you are going to be learning. Excel, SQL, Power BI, Lucidchart.io, Confluence, Trello, as well as Azure DevOps. Okay, now next one is Agile Project Management. So if you've heard the no code area in tech, these are the guys. No code. You're not doing anything technical. You're not doing anything write-up. You're not doing anything mathematics intensive, anything calculation intensive, no. So we call it the no code area in tech. So if you are someone that you are running from anything technical, you're running from anything coding, anything data, but you want to be in tech, then Agile Project Management should be for you. But the catch there is that you are required to be a leader and also a coach for people. Okay, because your responsibility is that you are going to manage a team and make sure that they are working using agile methods. Okay, so inside project management, we have two basic styles, the waterfall and the agile project management. Okay, and you are going to understand waterfall, which is like the normal traditional project management, and also you are going to understand the agile method. So which means you have understanding of ancient and modern project management. Okay, you are going to be serving as a project leader, as a coach, as a team lead, making sure that the engineers, the designers, that they are all working using agile methods. So your own responsibility is to read, understand what agile is all about, learn how to implement agile in organizations, and then enforce people to use agile methods. Okay, so you're going to be learning how to use Confluence, how to use Jira, and of course, how to use Trello with regards to project management. I hope we all got business analysis and agile project management because I'm moving faster right now. So next one is data engineers. So for these guys here, these guys are very, very heavy on coding. They are very, very heavy on coding. Heavy on coding. All right, so their responsibility, please go to the all right, so their responsibility is to make sure that data flows seamlessly within the ecosystem. So I would liken them to, we all know plumbers in construction company, okay? We all know plumbers in construction company, the way they have to build that pipeline to make sure that water flows seamlessly from the overhead tank down to the water tap, to your water system, to your shower, to your sink, and several things. That's how a data engineer is building pipelines to make sure that data flows seamlessly within the ecosystem. They are very heavy on coding, and their own things are not aesthetically pleasing because they're constantly writing codes. So if you're someone that wants to be behind the scene, build the backbone that powers some of these systems that you see, data engineering should be for you. Very important, they are very, very heavy on coding. So you're going to be learning SQL, Python, PySpark, Linux, and of course, understanding your ETL pipeline. Then Apache Airflow, as well as cloud engineering. Okay, you're going to understand GCP, Azure, and also AWS. Okay, very, very important. Then version control, as well as ChatGPT. They will have data science. So data science, I'm going to answer it using three basic things. So these guys answer three questions, right? And we call it descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, and then predictive. Ignore my handwriting, predictive analytics. So the first one is telling you, this is what happened. Diagnostic is telling you, this is why it happened. And predictive is telling you, this is what is going to happen in future. Okay, so all these things simply means that a data scientist will give you three different answers: descriptive, diagnostic, and predictive. And very, very important, please, let's all open our ears. All data scientists can work as data analysts. All data scientists can work as data analysts, but data analysts cannot work as data scientists. Okay, see the catch here. So if you see the first four things that a data scientist is learning, these are all data analytical tools as well. Statistics, forecasting using Excel, Tableau, and then SQL. They are all also data analytical tools. Before you now move into Python programming, machine learning, which is AI and machine learning, and then computer vision. So right here, I'm now moving towards how do you build predictive models to tell the future? How do you build models that are reactive and are also interactive? Okay, so this is what differentiates a data scientist from a data analyst. Okay, so this requires slight coding. It requires it to be able to code slightly. Remember, data engineers are heavy on coding. Data scientists require slight coding, but data analysts do not require any coding at all. So their own responsibility is also to answer two basic questions: descriptive and diagnostic. What happened and why did it happen? So they're not going towards the predictive aspect, okay? And that also is a career path. Most time people confuse data science and data analysts. They think, oh, data science is the big brother of data analysts. No, they are all different career paths on their own. Okay, if you now decide that, okay, you want to upskill after being a data analyst, then you can go to data science, but clearly they all have a parallel move in the tech industry. Okay, as a data analyst, you're learning how to use Excel, how to solve problem itself. Because your responsibility as an analyst coming into that organization is to solve problems for them. Tell them this is what happened, this is why it happened, and this is my data-backed recommendation. So that is you solving a problem for them. So you're going to learn problem solving, Excel, SQL, Power BI, Tableau, and also how do you tell a story. So I'm able to keep you guys here because I've taken you on a data storytelling. Trust me, if I started this call and the first thing I'm telling you is, oh, for you to be a data analyst, this is this, this is that, and then so on and so forth, you're going to lose interest. But remember, we started from somewhere. So that is how you also need to be able to hold on to your stakeholders, speak to them from one point to another point, and they're going to be glued to their screen listening to you. So that is job of data analyst, telling a story. So all these things is what you're going to be learning. So data engineers, heavy on coding, data science, slightly on coding, data analysts, no coding involved at all. Data analyst sometimes is always the entry point, easiest entry point for most people that are looking to run away from anything coding, and they also want to do things that are visual and technical. Okay, now let's see the financial analyst and HR analyst. I'll pick these guys together. So like the name simply said, financial analyst is simply a data analyst that have specialized in financial data. Okay, so if you can see my screen, the first four things that are learning is also what a data analyst is also learning. Then afterwards, they're now moving to accounting fundamentals, understanding your three statements of accounting model. That's your income statements, your balance sheets, and your cash flow. Yeah, your cash flow. So you need to understand that. Then you move to your financial analysis. And then how do you build models? How do you tell a company that, oh, if our price continues at this, by the end of this year, we're going to be at loss? Okay, and then also how do you do valuations? Okay, then HR analysts are simply data analysts also that have specialized in people data. So first thing they're learning is also data analytics. Then they're now moving towards understanding the KPIs. How do you build your KPIs and performance metrics? How do you also assess absenteeism and also attrition? How do you do compensation analysis and then also track your recruitment? So you can see it is now you infusing all those data understanding into HR. So they are simply data analysts that specialize in people data. Remember, they also can work as data analysts. That they streamline doesn't mean that they cannot work as a data analyst. I hope that makes sense to everyone. I hope that makes sense to everyone. I think there's one important question. Can a data engineer do the function of a data analyst? Ambrose, no. A data engineer cannot do the function of a data analyst unless that data engineer also went to learn data analytics. So they are all different career paths. Okay, they are all different unless data engineer learns data analytics as well. Hope that answers your question, Ambrose. Now, I think we also have cyber security. So cybersecurity is a tad bit different. Thank you very much for your in-depth perspective. Can one get such jobs in the UK, yes, and ET from Nigeria after the training? Yes, Dr. Beam, but it is a numbers game. All right. I'm still going to get there. Well, I'll show you a couple of Nigerians that were able to do it, but it's a numbers game for you because, for instance, if someone in UK is applying to 10 jobs and you're in Nigeria shooting for jobs that are in London, you need to apply to 50. It is the truth. You need to apply to 50. It is possible, but it is now a numbers game for you. Back to what I was saying. For cybersecurity, these guys, their own is a little bit different because cybersecurity has a lot of domains existing in it. We have the blue team, we have the red team. I know someone also selected cybersecurity. Please listen attentively. All right. We have the blue team, we have the red team. So blue team is responsible for defense, while red team is responsible for attack. So what this simply means is that you are learning how to become a defense-minded person and also an attack-minded person, which makes you a purple team member, someone that can play in both places. Now, first thing that you're going to be learning is understanding the general overview, then your CIA triad. I mean, we will speak a lot here because I love cybersecurity, it's my own side. All right, so information security principle, you understand your CIA triad, confidentiality, integrity, and then availability. How are they all playing into what you're trying to do? Then network security. How do you utilize your Nmap to assess vulnerabilities? Okay, how do you assess all these threats and also vulnerabilities that exist in your systems? And then SOC roles and responsibility around log analysis. How do you utilize your Splunk to perform your analysis and do your also log analysis for your SOC jobs? Okay, and then network traffic monitoring. How do you also utilize Cisco Packet Tracer to check your networks and find where the traffics are coming from? So this first part prepares you to work defense. And inside defense, there are several roles embedded in it. And then this other part prepares you to work as an attack. So defense, let's call it SOC analyst. Attack, let's call it the pen testers. There are other little career paths also embedded inside it, but you are going to be learning every single one of them. Then lastly, you will now learn GRC, governance, risk, and compliance, understanding your policy, your compliance, your security awareness, and several other things. This is where my strong suit personally is. Okay, so I love speaking about these guys. Okay, so aside that, you are going to be learning all this, but their own internship is different. So remember, you're doing an internship with a different company. During your internship, you can now specialize in a particular field. For instance, you can now decide, oh, I want to be a SOC analyst, and your internship is going to be molded towards SOC. You can decide, oh, I want to be a pen tester. Your internship is going to now be molded towards pen testing. Or if you want to go to GRC, your internship will now be molded towards GRC. Okay, but for all these programs that I've mentioned now, they are all for 6 months classroom learning with us. You are having is cybersecurity heavy on coding? No, it is not gift, but it is heavy on tools. You need to understand how to utilize tools and technological understanding, but you are not doing coding. We don't classify it as coding gifts. Hope that answers your question. This is why I don't like answering questions. I've lost my trail of thoughts. So for all this program, it is for 8 months, but for 6 months, you are fully with us learning. And then for 2 months, you are interning with Amdari. And the class is only on Saturdays. All right, so we have 2 classes, right? We have the morning class and the evening class. We have the morning class and the evening class. The morning class is by 11 a.m. West African time. Please, let's take attention of the time zone. 11 a.m. West African time. It's stable for people in Europe and also in Africa. The evening class is by 6 p.m. West African time. That should be around 10 a.m. Okay, I think there's a Greenwich shift now. That should be around 11 a.m. Mountain time right now. Okay, so the evening class is by 6 p.m. what? morning class is by 11 a.m. what? It can only be in one class. Okay, it can't be in the morning today. Next time is changing tonight. Okay, also the same thing. So even if it changes, all right, you can also still fit into the morning class because it's around your either 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. as well. Okay, so but the way we classify, even if you are in Canada, North America, and you want to be in the morning class, you can. It simply means that you've now decided that you can be waking up by 4 a.m. to join the classes. Okay, so you can be in any of those classes, but you can only be in one. All right. Now, the reason for you to be in one is because sometimes one moves faster than the other. For instance, let's assume that in the morning class, people there are fast learners and things are moving fast. And from the evening class, you miss the class, and then you want to join the morning class, and then you come to class, you realize that they are faster than you were in the evening class. So that's why we always make sure that you stick to your own time zone. But the beauty there is that all the classes are always recorded. So even if you miss any session, you have a lifetime access to recorded version of that class. Okay, so you can always go through it. If you have questions, you can come back to our closed WhatsApp community, ask questions that are constructive. Oh, I was going through the recording and I didn't get this. Help me out. And someone is going to jump on a call and answer your question. And then during the week, we have what we also call, yes, all the live classes are only on Saturdays, but I'm getting somewhere, Aban. During the week, we have what we call revision classes. So for instance, you missed a class on Saturday, revision class happens on Wednesday mostly. Okay, one happens around 9 p.m. West African time. And then first class on Saturday is normal class, live class. If you come next weekend, it's going to be a revision class. Okay, also to make sure that people that miss classes, they are also, carried along. There are a lot of questions. Guys, just give me 10 minutes. I'm almost done. And I'm going to pick the questions one after the other. All right, I'm going to pick it one after the other. So all those classes are recorded, but your live class happens only on weekends. Now, during the week, that's where you have some mentorship classes, all those your CV optimization, LinkedIn optimization, mentorships. That is where that happens during the week. Mostly 10 p.m. Watt on Thursdays and 8 p.m. MST on Thursdays. So just to speak it in watts, it's 10 p.m. Watts on Thursdays and 3 a.m. on Fridays. So the reason is for us to be able to also, remember we have two time zones we are working with, the North American guys and the European time zones. So you most likely is going to fall into one. That is, unless you are hiding under Mars, there is no country that you are in that one of them is not going to suit you. But the truth is that as adults, sometimes we also have things, we also have things that will keep you out of class. And that's why all the sessions are always recorded. Okay, so once it's recorded, you can always go back and watch the video over and over again. I know I didn't touch base with DevOps, and the reason is because DevOps is a new course that we are starting. DevOps and product design, they are newly added courses. And the reason is because the ecosystem is growing. We've also seen that there is need towards DevOps engineering. And that is why we added it. And what exactly is DevOps? So they are only simple. The way we have software development, under software development, we have the development team and we have the operations team. Someone is building and someone is now testing and running operations around it. But all these things takes time. And because of it, the wall was broken down and DevOps engineering formed. So it's a continuous interactive loop where someone has to plan, code, build, test, and then also test all those things in the environment and then go back to planning. So DevOps engineering, if you're also someone that you are keen to moving into software development as well, DevOps is the right place for you because it means that you have the understanding of development and also the understanding of operations. And then product design, on the other hand, like we all know, it is not just UI UX. So product design is like a marriage between user experience and business goals. So, a UI UX person is more involved in understanding the design elements, the interaction, the prototypes, and all those little design systems. But when you now infuse adoption, conversion, how is this product we are building, how is it going to retain our customers? How is it going to convert from our funnel? How is it going to even grow us over a period of time? That is you now moving towards product design. So if you are someone that you also technically gifted when it comes to drawing things, building things, and making it visually appealing, product design is for you. But product design and DevOps, they are new courses that we are starting. All right, they are both new courses that we are starting. Product design is for 4 months, all right, but DevOps is the same thing with every other one that we already have. But the catch there is that they are not going to be starting next month like others. So their first class is in December because there are new classes. So how exactly can you start today? Okay, how exactly can you start today? Like I mentioned, all the programs I've mentioned now, their classes are starting November 8th. So November 8th, new cohort is starting. We'll start a new cohort every first Saturday of each month. And the next one is November 8th. And for all these courses, the full amount is $8,000. All right. And then for product design, it is for $600. But currently, there's a 25% discount existing, which means it's going for $750 and $450 respectively. And then you have the option to pay instrumentally $150 every month. Okay, so it's not something that you have to pay one off. It's a monthly payment option for you. Okay, each month you are resubscribing, each month you are also resubscribing. And how can you get access to this program? So it's simple. Once you click on that link that my colleagues are dropping, it's going to bring you to this our page. Okay, it's going to bring you to our page. It's now you that's going to select, oh, which one do I want to go for? So if you want to go for data or cyber security or data engineering or anyone, this is where you select it. The discount is for the first 20 people to secure their spots. Okay, so let's assume you are going for the business analysis class, all you have to do is simply click on buy now. So once you click on it, it's going to bring you to this page. You click on enroll now and then simply enroll. So let me enroll using my name, Mr. ICE. That is my initials, Ekpachukwuemeka Emmanuel. All right, so let me put my email. So I'm walking us through how you can actually be able to secure your spot. Once you click on the link that my colleagues are dropping, it's going to bring you to this page where you can now, select the course you want to go for and then be able to now choose and register for the course that you want to go for. So I want to walk us through how we can secure our own spots. Remember, you can pay instrumentally $150 every month, $150 every month for 5 months. That's for the 6 months program. And then for DevOps, $150, $150, $150 also for 3 months as well. So once you've clicked on that link, it is going to bring you to this page. You've selected the program you want to go for. You filled your email address and then put your phone number. And of course, you are expected to go through the terms and conditions as always, and then put your email address. So let me put my email address. Once I put my email address, I'll click on create account. So once I click on create account, it's going to create an account for me. This email has been used. Sorry about that, guys. I think I used an email that I've already utilized. So I need to be able to get a fresh email. Okay, I need to get a fresh email so that I can be able to run this demonstration. But I hope we are all still following me. Once I'm done with this demonstration, straight is to answer every question that everyone has, and then we're going to close out for the day. Okay, we're going to close out for the day. So let me select and get a different email address, and we get a different email address. For some reason, email pimp is not giving me a new email address, but I'm going to make sure that I get an email address that I'm going to use for this demonstration. Just 1 minute. I'm going to definitely get an email address for this because I can't use my old one since I'm already part of it. But let me use this and get an email for everyone. But if you have questions, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. I'm going to pick it up from there and then answer it once I'm done with this demonstration. And then you can also use the raise hand icon and I'll call you up to actually speak. Okay, I'll call you up to speak to us directly. Okay, but let me demonstrate. Once you click on it, verify that you are human. For you, you're not going to go through this process because you're going to use your natural email address. But for this demonstration purpose, I'm trying to get a temporary email address that I can use to demonstrate what we're trying to do now. Okay, I've gotten a new email address. So all I have to now do is simply go back to my registration page. All right, remember you've added your name, everything, you've dropped your email address, and then you've created an account. So once you are done creating an account, it's going to show you account created successfully. All right, it's going to show it to you, okay, account created successfully. So right now, it's going to ask you to also check your email address for some information. So once it's created, it's going to redirect you to now be able to continue with your own payment option. All right, it's going to redirect you. So right here, remember I stated data analytics. You can decide if you want to start in November or if you want to start in December. So anyone you want to go for, do you want to start in November or December? So I want to start in November because, December might be somehow because of the festivities. So let me start earlier. So I'll start in November. And then right here, you can decide how you want to make your payments. Right? You can decide if you want to pay your payments one-off or in 2 installments or in 3 installments or 4 installments or 5 installments. Now, the beauty is that you can pay from anywhere. Time is changing tonight, okay? Okay, now the beauty is that you can pay from anywhere and it's going to show you your local currency. For instance, if you are joining from UK, you're going to see the payments plan in pounds. If you are joining from Canada, you're going to see it in CAD. If you are joining from Australia, you're going to see it in AUD. If you are joining from Nigeria, you're going to see it in NG. If you're joining from US, you're going to see it in USD. So you're always going to see it in your own local currency, anyone that works. But remember, select the payments that you want. Now, if you decide to pay one-off or in 2 installments, there is an extra knockoff for you, excluding the 25% that's already existing. Right? You can see there's an extra knockoff for people that decide to pay in one-off or in 2 installments. But because, I don't have enough money, I don't have it right now. So let me go for the 5 only option. Once I select it, I click on apply discount. And then it's going to apply that discount for you and bring you right here. So you can see applying discount is now bringing you right here. So it's showing you that your first payment is due now, today, which is you're meant to pay today. And the next payment is November 25. Next one is December 25. Next one, January 24. So it's always a 30-day cycle. But if you want to modify it, you have the option to also do so. So while still on this page, simply click on this edit dates. All right, you see, you can decide that, oh, my payment actually comes in every 28th of the month. So I want my next payment cycle to be on the 28th. So once you've selected that 28, it has changed the cycle. So you remember your first payment is today, but then your next payment will now be on November 28th. The other one will now be on December 28th. The other one will now be on January 27th. And then the last one on February 26th. Okay, once you've confirmed that everything is okay, you have to, of course, confirm that your information is correct. You've also gone through the terms and conditions and simply click to pay now. And that is as simple as it can be. Once you click on pay now, it's now going to ask you to put in your card details and make the payments. All right. So it's a global collection point. So you can pay from any country that you are in. Even if you're in Trinidad and Tobago, you can comfortably pay from there. So next thing you now need to do is to put in your payment information. If you like copy my payment information, this is a demo account, so it's not going to work for anyone. This is a demo account. So once you've done that, simply put your CVC, and the other numbers, and then put this one as well. Once you are done, simply pay for this product. Okay, okay, my name is Mr. ICE. That's the name I registered with, and then simply click on pay. So once you do this, it's now going to pay, and then you're going to see that payment is successful. So next thing that will happen is that it's going to redirect you to the dashboard, your LMS, your learning management system. So when you click on it, it's asking you to verify your email. You go back to your email account, you're going to see the message or email that you got, which is this. So this is the email I also got. I need to use it to verify that I'm the one that is trying to get access to my account. So the email is simply 279721, 279721. So it's simply 279721. Once I do that, I click on verify my email, and that is as simple as it can be. So you can see that my email has been verified, and I now have access to the learning management system. So most of the activities that you are going to be doing is inside the LMS. Okay, but you need to also fill this process to complete your registration, whether you're a female, and so on and so forth. And then this is where you indicate whether you want to be in the morning class or the evening class. So because I'm in US, I prefer to work with the evening class, which is 6 p.m. watts, because it should be my early morning. And then you can now feel how you heard about analytics. All these are, you heard from them, from the staff, and so on and so forth. And simply, how much time are you going to be giving us? 4 to 6 hours a week, and then complete your setup. Once you are done, your profile is fully updated and you have access to your learning management system. So right here, you can see that this is your LMS. I register for the business analysis. I can start learning. If I have need for reference letter, I can ask for it on the platform. If I have to schedule an interview preparatory class, I can schedule it here. Anything I want to do, literally, I can do it on this LMS. So this is as simple as it can be. Sorry that I had to be a little bit fast. There are a lot of us had a lot of questions, and I wanted to move very, very fast so I can be able to answer questions as fast as possible. So guys, I'm right here now to answer all the questions. If you want to speak directly, please use the raise hand icon. I'm going to call you up to speak. And if you want to drop it in the comment section, I'm going to be going through it right now to answer every question that is existing there. So last one there is saying, how often do you have these information sessions? Oh, fantastic, Okambai. So most time, every Saturday. If I'm not here, somebody else is going to be here, but we have sessions every Saturday to speak. And then during the week, we have on Wednesdays, we have on Fridays, but those ones are now tailored specifically to a career path. So it is now a skill training session. For instance, maybe the one on Wednesday can be on Power BI, showing you how you, as a health informatics person, can use Power BI to work in your sector. So it's not going to be as encompassing as this. It's going to be tailored down to a specific one. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Gift. Will there be exam at the end? No. So at the end of the program, we expect you to work on a capstone project. So you are going to be given a capstone project to work on. And what it simply means is that once you are done working on that project, we are going to see that you have completed every single thing that you were taught. And that is your own criteria of success. Is there going to be certificates in the end? Yes. So when you are done, you are going to receive these certificates accredited by American Council of Training and Development, ACTD. Okay, so you are going to be getting a certificate. But remember what I said earlier, competence over credential. Competence over credential. Even though you are getting these certificates, what we are after is making sure you have that competence to deliver and not just the certificates itself. I hope that answers the question. Okay, I think there's another question there. I'm in UK, but can I pay in dollars because it's cheaper? Wow. Well, of course, what you can easily do, I think on the website, you have the option to switch. You actually have the option to switch, but there's possibility it may or may not work for you because of some regional discrepancies, okay? But easily what you can do is also to get somebody in UK to log in and try and make payments for you, and then that is simple as it can be. We'll have people that will mention, oh, I want to even pay in Naira. It's simple. Get somebody in Nigeria to log in and make the payments for you, and then it's still the same thing, and then you can now have access to your own email address. But yes, on the platform, there's a switching possibility, but most time, payments gateway do not allow it. So this is just me, trying to make it known to you right now. Okay, you said data engineering is heavy on coding. What are the coding involved? Fantastic question. So for data engineers, this is taking me very, very far back. For data engineers, you can see clearly that you are going to be learning SQL, Python programming, Linux, and also ETL pipeline. Now, ETL pipeline simply means extraction, transformation, and loading. For you to extract something, it means that you have, for instance, we used Indeed today. You are trying to extract data from Indeed. You scrape Indeed platform, and you've gone to your IDE, that's your integrated development environment, to transpose the data. It can be your Jupyter Notebook or anywhere. And then you are loading it to a database, which can be your SQL, Postgres, okay? So it requires coding for you to do all these things. Then Apache Spark, Cloud Engineering, Apache Airflow is now, how do you automate this exact process? So data engineers are very heavy on coding, but it is actually learnable. So all the programs are from basic level to expert level. So even if you have zero experience, you are going to be handheld. But remember, having zero experience doesn't equate to not knowing anything at all. So it's important you transition from a place you have transferable skill, which is why the quiz is important, so that you already have a transferable skill into that part. And then when you're not starting from that beginner phase, it's now going to be very, very, very easy for you. I hope that answers your question, Ezekiel. Okay, I'm still scrolling up to see other questions. Will there be attendance rates? Okay, there's attendance down for you to fill. Must one stick to morning class only? Can I do morning today and evening next week? So that's what I answered earlier, Aban. You can't do morning today and evening next week because the morning class may be faster. And if you do morning today and do evening next week, it means that if you come to that class the other time, they've moved beyond where you are. So it's important for you to stick to a particular class. But then remember, all the classes are always recorded. That even if you miss anything, you have access to recorded version, and there's also a revision class that happens. And this is the best way we can do it, because as an adult, trust me, sometimes I can even miss a class because maybe my family is sick, my daughter is sick, I have to take her to the hospital and stuff like that. At their weekend classes, all the classes are only on weekends. They are only on weekends. Okay, I think I've answered. Okay, there's a question from Frederick. Sorry for interrupting. It's a soft reminder of a promise to send me the notes on sales analysis short class in how we taught some few weeks ago. Frederick, please check your spam. Right, check your spam, because we always send out this slide after each session. Right, check your spam folder. If it's not there, we're definitely going to send out this one again. So guys, please, let's make sure that you also do not block receiving email from unknown senders, because if you blocked us, if you are sending these emails, you're not going to be able to get it. Okay, I'm interested in HR analytics now, but I'm thinking of data engineer in 2 or 3 years. Is there a way? Fantastic. So the easiest part is for you to start with HR. And then by next year, towards the end of the year, can decide to upskill to data engineer. When I started my career, I started from GRC cybersecurity because that is where my easiest pathway exists in. After a couple of months, I moved to data. I moved to business analysis and several others. But there has to be a specific one that you transition through, get the skill, and land a job first, Abia. Okay? And land a job first. It's very, very important that you land a job before you now start moving to the other parts. Can I get a call tonight to discuss further, or is it possible to talk with you? That's a very good question, user. Of course, you can get a call to speak to me. Can get a call. Most likely, the lines you're seeing on our screen are the lines you can reach us with. But once you speak to any of them and mention that you want to speak to Chukwemeka, they're going to add a 3-way call and bring me to the conversation. Okay, sometimes you may not have me. You may have my founder, my co-founder, my VP, amazing people that are even better than myself. But trust me, no matter who you are going to speak to, they are 100 times better than what I can tell you actually. Okay, so yeah, user, I can have conversation with us, and then of course can jump on a call to also discuss this with anybody. Okay, I paid, but it was more than 150. Did I make an error? Okay, that's NDOHJ. I cannot pronounce your name. It's because you are paying in card. So it's showing $150 USD. But if you convert it to Canadian dollars, it's 220. So that is why it is showing you that 220. So it's going to show you your own local currency. If you want to pay in Naira, you're going to be seeing it around 1.2 or thereabouts. So your own local currency is what you are going to be seeing. But in summary, the full amount is $150. That's when we're trying to do it to dollar equivalent. I hope that answers your question, NDOHJ. How much is it in Naira? It's roughly 1.2. It's roughly 1.2 million with the discount included. Without the discount, it should be around 1.6. But payment gateways also depends on their own exchange rates. We don't control exchange rates, so it also depends on their own exchange rates. For those working, do we have the option of having lectures at the weekends? So all the classes are in the weekends. Okay, all classes holds on Saturdays alone. The only class you get within the week is revision class or mentorship sessions that happen also around this time. Because around 9 p.m., that's when people are also relaxed, around 9 p.m. So let me check to see if any hand is raised. Okay, Clarice, your hand is raised. Please go ahead. I've asked you to unmute, Clarice.
Okay, Thank you so much for the class. In fact, I think this is the right time for me because I work for one of the multinational organization, and we've been told that next year a number of people are gonna be laid off unless you're technically technical, and of course the AI, right? So I just wanted to use those words. So I believe that I'm joining at the right time. So my question is, in Kenya, we normally have a way of payment that I don't have to do the bank transaction where I put my card. For me, I'm really very reserved when it comes to that. So we can actually also do the M-Pesa, the mobile money transaction. Do we have that option? Because I went through and I didn't see it anywhere.
Okay, I understand the M-Pesa. So it doesn't exist on the website, and the reason is because of the uniqueness of each country when it comes to this. For instance, in Nigeria, they have M-Copper. Kenya has M-Pesa. So what we're looking at is also ways to scale this up in coming years. But at the moment, it is not existing at that place. Okay, but you do not have anything to worry about actually, Clarice, because we don't actually control this. If you know Mainstack, Stripe, not even Mainstack, Stripe. Stripe is universally a payment gateway for most people. So Stripe is also what we utilize for all these payments, and they control most of those availabilities. So right now, we don't have M-Pesa. Okay, but what will happen is, Clarice, if that doesn't work for you, I want you to shoot an email to accounts@10analytics.io. Right, so I'm going to drop it in the comment section, accounts@10analytics.io. Shoot an email to that email address, and let's find a way to inculcate what you're trying to do, accounts@10analytics.io. But the challenge with some of this is that sometimes it might take a while. And remember, the discount is just for the first 20 people. And that while that is going to take may now lead to you missing out on that discount. But I know you are very reserved. We are all very reserved. But these days, if you can't make payments online straight up, then there's actually a challenge already existing. So that's it, Clarice. I dropped an email for you to send an email to Clarice, account@10analytics.io, and then let's see how we can actually be able to find a middle ground for you also. Okay. Thank you, Clarice. Is there another hand raised? There is Rosamond's iPad. Hi, Rosamond. I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead and speak.
Hi, so I've made the payment, and then I received an email, a confirmation email, and it says start learning. When I click on that, I'm not able to get anything.
Okay, fantastic, Rosamond. So remember, your program starts November 8th. Now, before that November 8th, from next week, you should have access to most things there for you to be able to have your week zero. Yeah, but as at now, it's a live class. So someone has to start teaching you. But there are some videos there that you're also expected to watch, some things that you need to do, and so on and so forth. But before that, November 8th, from next week that we're entering, you should have access to watching it. And then, of course, you also have some checklists that you need to also go through. So make sure that you've completed your checklist, because if you've not completed that checklist, you may not be able to see some of those learning possibilities. I'm thinking that is the possibility that you're having right now. So you need to complete before you can also start learning immediately. So checklist is now you going through the terms and conditions, going through the classroom, understanding how to install one or two things so that it will be an easier journey for you. Yeah.
All right, then. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Rosamond. Clarice, your hand is still up. Is it an old one or the new one? I've asked you to meet again.
Yeah, I wanted to find out, is it possible also to just walk into the bank and bank the money direct to the account?
Exactly. So it is possible 100%, which is why I asked you to send an email to that account, email I dropped, okay? So you can send an email to that email I dropped that you want to pay directly to it, and we're going to provide you an account that you can make that transfer into, okay?
Thank you.
That is possible. Because that's the only option we may have to go now. Okay, it's not a conventional style, but we'll have to. Okay, I think that's the hands raised. Is there any other question? Please feel free to use the raise hand icon and shoot your questions at me. Okay, feel free to use the raise hand icon. Let me check the comment section. Sorry to bother. She can also consider M-Pesa to PayPal. Okay, there's also an option that COM just dropped for you as well, Clarissa. Please, is it all the courses that cost $750? What if it's only cybersecurity I want to learn? Ashley. All right, so each course is 750. It's not it's not the collection of all of them that is 750. So why you're seeing it like that is because all of them are in the same brackets. So it's 750 for business analysis, 750 for data analysis, 750 for data analysis, and so on and so forth. So each one is 750. So anyone you want to go for falls within that bracket. The only one that is different is product design, and it is for 4 months. 3 months classroom learning, and then 1 month internship. That is why it is also the way it is. I hope that answers your question, Chi Ashley. Between the BA and Agile Project Manager, which one has more career prospects? That's Ebube. Fantastic question, Ebube. So Ebube, first question is, where are you transitioning from? All right. For instance, career prospects for you may not be career prospects for me. Because if I'm going into anything new, I'm going into maybe how to become an air pilot. So that's career prospect for me. But that's by the way. So first you need to find out is what's the career path that you're coming from. Do you want to get into things that is a little bit technical, or are you running from technicalities entirely? Right. But in clearer terms, I'm going to speak very, very subjectively for you right now. So BA has more potency than project management. Now, why I say that is this. As a business analyst, from experience, we've seen some people, because they learned data analytics here, Excel, Power BI, and SQL, some of them go as far as landing a data analyst job. Okay, and some of them, because they learned process mapping, project initiation, Agile, and Scrum for projects, some of them go as far as landing a project management job. And then some of them now land their proper BA, business analysis job. So business analysis has some borrowed courses from places. And if you're a smart person, it gives you 3 branches to branch into. Okay, it gives you that 3 possibilities. So easily, because of that branches that it has, business analysis has more career prospects. I hope that answers your question, everybody. That's in a very subjective manner. But first thing is you understanding, because if you are someone that you are running from anything that has to do with data, all right, if you're running from anything that has to do with data, at the point that you're learning this Excel, Power BI, and SQL, you are going to lose it. And once you lose it, you may not even get these other ones in the end, which is why I say subjectively, it's better to transition from a place that you have transferable skill and not from that aspect that you're looking at it from, which is career prospects. Because remember, all the 10 courses that we're talking about, they all have that prospect. But what you now need to know is which one gives you that ease of transitioning so that you can easily be able to get into it. I hope that answers your question, Ebube. Okay, let me scroll up again. I think I've answered all the questions actually. The quiz says HR analysis, but I love cyber security. I am confused. Gifts, fantastic gifts. So gifts, the quiz gave you HR analytics because that is where your transferable skills are. But if you love cyber security, it's a possibility for you. But the difference now is that it's going to be harder. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It means that if after the classes, after HR class, you would have gone to sleep, for cybersecurity, even if you attended that class, after the class, you need to go back and rewatch the recorded version at a slower pace. Okay, so it is possible for you to even to transition to places you don't have transferable skill. The difference is just that it's going to be longer and it's going to require a lot from you. So if you think you have the time to give to that cybersecurity now, and go through all the classes, even after being in the live class, so they can put everything on your fingertips, then go for cybersecurity. But if you don't have that time to continuously pump in time to learn more and more, then you should go for HR analytics. I hope that answers your question, Gifts. Okay, most of the jobs of a project manager in UK needs qualification. How do I manage that? Fantastic question, user. Now, there are some courses here. Clearly, in the tech ecosystem, most jobs don't need certificates from you. And I can tell you for a fact that the only 2 people that are still adamant on asking for certification is sometimes project managers and sometimes cybersecurity people. Okay, they're asking you for CISA, they're asking for CISM, they're asking all those things is just semantics. I can tell you clearly that in our program, we have more than 5 people with CISA that they don't even know what they need to do. So they're back here to learn the technicalities. All right, so if the requirement of the job needs you to get that certificate, I would advise you to go for it. But the only thing I'm telling you is that for you to actually perform on that job, these skills that you're getting here is what matters. Okay. But if the job is requesting you to get a certification, then there is need for you to go for those certifications. And we don't interface with certification matters because it requires extra level of payments, extra layers of other things, and we don't want to get into it. I hope that answers your question, user. For instance, if you're going for project management, that is PMP, that is PSM, that is Prince 2, and that becomes a lot. Okay, so it's now you that is going to decide which one do I want to go for first, and then approach it from that qualification or certification point of view that you want to go for. I hope that answers your question, user. Okay, I think I've answered every single question here. What about a psychology degree holder with experience as a teacher assistant in SEND school? What are the likelihood of transferring to data analytics? The likelihood is 75%, okay? But I don't know much from you to make it 100, because for you to move to data analytics, it means that you are open to doing things that are technical. So as a teacher, easily, it will be easy for you to also get into business analysis because I believe most teachers can comfortably converse with people, all right? So for you, that this is just the information you've given me, you can get into data analytics, 100% you can. And you can also get into business analysis. I would advise you, if you love speaking to people, if you love interacting with people, go for business analysis. But if you are looking to move away from that possibility, then you should go for data analysis. Okay? I want to transfer from mental health counseling to business analysis. Nadine, this is not sufficient for me to give you advice. So I'll also advise to book a one-on-one clarity call, and we are going to look at it and then find the better ways for you. But clearly, if you want to go to business analysis, I'm sure you heard when I was explaining, which means that you are comfortable speaking to people. And as a counselor, I believe you are very, very comfortable speaking to people. So it is actually a possibility for you to break into business analysis from that mental health counseling background. Okay, hope that answers your question. I've been doing APM, Agile Foundation, Prince 2, Foundation, and Scrum, etc. But the truth is that it's looking too much for me to comprehend once. I have MS in project management. What do you advise I do to land me to my dream, user? User, I think we'll have to jump on a clarity call. Okay, I think we'll have to jump on a clarity call. But easily, if you have experience in Agile already, I would advise you to go for business analysis. So the reason for that is that there are transferable skills from Agile to business analysis. And by doing that, it gives you a more broader possibilities to apply to jobs from. Okay, and it gives you more possibilities, which means that when you are done, you can apply to jobs that exist in APM, can also apply to jobs that exist in business analysis. Hope that answers your question, user, as well. Okay, please, can I get numbers to call now? User, I think you are the person that asked me the highest number of questions on this call. So it is on my screen again. So all these numbers, Sheyi, Lydia, Shehu, or the WhatsApp line can easily be able to reach us through any of them. Or also the email address that I have up here can also be able to reach out to any of them as fast as possible. But very important, guys, let's make sure we secure our spots. So everything I've been saying now, remember the discounts exist for just the first 20 people. And once this discount is over, the full amount is now going to be the requirement. So even while you're trying to book for, no, the clarity call is entirely free. It's not paid for. I mean, the same way you didn't pay for this conversation, the clarity call is free. Okay, it's what we do for the community to help more people to break into the tech environment. All right, so the discount, once first 20 people from this session is filled up, the price goes back to the full amount. Remember, you can secure your spots instrumentally, 150, 150, 150. Okay, and there's a second catch for there. For the first 20 people to register after this conversation that we're having today, they are going to also be part of our exclusive session on how to get the Tech Nation endorsement and apply for the Global Talent Visa. So this is very, very, very important. So if you're looking to be a global citizen as well, then you should take us up on this offer. Okay, the same way we've conversed, you can see how we're able to break down everything that you need to know. So that's how we also are going to have a closed exclusive session for the first 20 people to secure their own spots this afternoon or this evening, depending on where you're joining from. Okay, and once you do that, you're going to definitely be part of our exclusive session for the Tech Nation and also how to go about the Global Talent Visa. Okay, so moving on, like I've said already, you are also going to get the certificates in the end. last year we got into our Beta Catalyzer program with one aim. How do we help more people to break into tech? And this year we got into Dohe Accelerator program, which is also how do you optimize our processes to help more people with regards to what we offer? That is simply the aim. How do we help and keep helping? Okay, so everything I have on my slide, they are all success stories of people that have been able to make this switch before you. Remember what I've said earlier, make sure you secure your spots. And if you've not filled the attendance form, please make sure that you fill the attendance form also, so that we can send this slide to you and also share the recorded version of this conversation with you after this call. Oh, Annie is raising her hand. Annie, you are very lucky because I'm close to ending this call right now. All right, please go ahead, Annie. Let's close out with you. Annie, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. It's not a. This is a guy, not a lady. Anyway, I've been raising up my hand because I've been joining and on and off, and all that. But my question is this: I want to try and make payments. If I heard you clearly, you made mention of 150, 150, 150 4 times. Is that if I want to make payment for the four installments, that what that one for?
Okay. Okay, so you remember the program is for, don't mute yourself so that we can have a conversation. It's 750. So it's 150, 150, 150. It's 5 times. All right.
Oh,
it is
yeah.
like 5 times. Okay. But you can decide that you want to pay one off, or you want to pay in 2 installments, or 3 installments, or 4 installments, or 5 installments. So that option exists for you on the website. So I'm just using the 5 option because that's always the the one that is closest to the people. Right, but if you want to make it one off, you can make one off. If you want to pay in 2 installments, you can also make it in 2 installments or 3 installments, as the case may be. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Annie. And thank you so much to every single one of you that joined us for this conversation. It's not easy for you to sit right here and listen to us for the last 2 hours, 30 minutes. Okay. We appreciate you. iPhone, you are raising your hand again. I'm already giving my last remark. I'm about to. Please go ahead, iPhone. Let me just close out. 1 minute, iPhone. iPhone, I've asked you to unmute.
Yes, thank you very much for this session. I've been sending a message, but I think you didn't see the message from all the flurry of messages. So I was going to ask about, I've done a master's in data science, but I struggle with coding, which is particularly Python and even the machine learning statistics and stuff. So
I can't hear you anymore. iPhone, I think you muted yourself. Oh my gosh, she muted herself. All right, let me unmute you. Let me find you and unmute you again. iPhone, I've asked you to unmute again. iPhone, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
So what's your name? I don't like that I'm calling you
Miriam. Miriam, that's my name.
All right, Miriam, please go ahead.
So I did my master's in data science, but I struggle with coding and the machine learning part of things. And I have been struggling to get a full-time job as well. So I was just thinking that which would be better for me? Will it be data analytics or data science to go for again?
Don't meet yourself, yes. When you tried Python, how badly do you hate it? Or is it the way it was taught that you hate?
Not that I hate it, but I struggle to comprehend it. And I think I forget very quickly what I've learned. I don't know, particularly Python. I'm better with SQL. I'm better with Power BI.
All right. So if you can use SQL, you shouldn't struggle with Python. All right. So most likely is how it was taught. So for ease of comprehension, for you to have masters in data science, it will be easier when you're not being taught the practical points. So clearly, data science will be the easy part for you. So it's going to solidify the knowledge you have from your MSc already. But if you go for data analytics, it means that you're going to lose out on that Python understanding and also that machine learning. So it becomes maybe a knowledge that you're not going to be using anymore. So 2 things are involved. If you're looking to leave out that Python machine learning and also the other coding perspective, then you should go for data analytics. But if you want to challenge yourself and also be able to go for more, then data science is for you. If I'm you, I'm going to go for data science because it's going to solidify my knowledge in masters in data science already. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Miriam.
Yes, perfect sense. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and thank you so much to everyone. This is the, I think, last person that we are going to be having for today. And for every other person, the group chat that you came through, we are going to be dropping a link there. You can book a one-on-one clarity call. It's entirely free, okay? You don't have to pay. So you're going to have people that are way better than myself to speak to you about some of these things, to also answer your questions in case you were not able to speak to us directly today. So thank you to everyone that stayed up to these very moments. On behalf of our founder, Adeza Suleiman, co-founder at Manai Pro, and of course, Oyindamola, that made this session to be a successful one, I say a very big thank you to each and every single one of you. Remember, the best time to break into tech is yesterday. The next best time is today. Cheers, everyone, and let's have a wonderful day or night ahead. Bye, guys.